Hello, and welcome to the Lost Archives. My name's Owen, and I'm the Dungeon Master of this ragtag group of heroes and adventurers.
Hi everybody, I'm Claire. I'm playing Mira, who's a Dragonborn Sorcerer, half red dragon, half silver dragon. Originally was a bit of a politician, and now has joined the adventuring life, probably to a greater extent than she ever expected.
Hi everyone, I'm Michael. I'm playing Lockie, a Warforged Artificer. Originally was part of a flying castle, but I've since left and resumed an adventure with my now friends.
Cool. Hey guys, I'm Jared, and I play the character of Jin. He is a level 6 Law Bard and a level 2 Hexblade Warlock. I'm currently an associate and ally of the Tempest Guild, and I am helping them in their goal of stopping the Queen of Dragons, Tiamat.
Hello, I'm Ali, and I'm playing Shana, the Yuan-Ti Sorcerer, who is traveling with the Tempest Adventuring Guild, trying to find the other half of her soul, who is hiding somewhere away, far from reach.
Hi guys, I'm Matt, playing Yervith, the sneaky Wood Elf Ranger and Rogue, who, after a tragic incident in the jungle with his previous expedition, has now joined up with this lovely ragtag group of adventurers and is looking to see what happens next.
Hello, everybody! Hello. Welcome to the Lost Archives. We've not had any technical difficulties tonight, don't worry. We're back, everybody. Oh my goodness. Hello. Oh, it's so lovely to see your faces again. It's lovely to have you all here. I can see we've got Archie and Brunebase already. Brunebase, you're already asking for Jin to turn into a frog. No, not yet. You're gonna have to wait for that. He's got to earn it. But no, welcome back, everybody, to our Dungeons and Dragons stream. It's lovely to have you all here joining us. And for those of you who are listening on the podcast and YouTube, thank you very, very much. And thanks for sticking around to the journey. I think we're now up to episode 88. So huge thank you for getting through this many episodes. Now, for those of you who are watching the stream and YouTube, you'll notice that we have two interesting things of note visually. The first and most important one is Ali has some fucking cool hair, and the stream's already commenting on it.
I forgot to say that I couldn't talk. Yeah, you held the trailer.
Couldn't talk. This is going to be fun. Matt's playing a Warforged tonight. I'm kidding. Okay, it's not that bad. I'm kidding. You'll also notice that Jared's camera is off tonight. His webcam's not on because he's doing some last minute packing. He's heading away really soon, but he may or may not have his camera on depending on how he gets his packing done. But he is joining us for tonight's stream. And then obviously there's one more thing. We have one other tiny little thing to share. We've got a guest character joining us tonight. Raph. Hello. Long time friend of the stream, but first time actually on it. Willkommen and welcome to the Lost Archives, Raph. It's lovely to have you here. Raph and I have been playing D&D for a very, very long time. I was going to say that only Jared has played with Raph before, but actually Claire's played D&D with Raph before, and Ali and Raph don't know that they know each other, but they do know each other, which is also fun too. Because I went to uni with Ali, and the house that I was living in was the party house, and Raph came to that party house numerous times. And you lived in it for a bit, didn't you, Yellow House? Did you? No, you didn't live there. You just crashed there when you were really drunk. That's right.
You didn't live in the bathtub for a bit, did you?
No. That was another person. That wasn't him. We did have a guy live in our bathtub for 3 months. That was shit.
Oh wow!
He literally was a squatter.
I feel like that warrants a lot of conversation.
Yeah, we did have a chat about it, and we tried to get rid of him. It turned out to be when a man doesn't want to be moved from a bathtub, it turns out it's very hard to remove him. When there's that level of commitment to living that bathtub life, #bathtub life, it's very hard to take a man away. So we struggled greatly, and we were unsuccessful in removing him from a bathtub. But that's an aside. Raph is joining us tonight, coming in as a guest character. Now, we're not going to reveal too much about his guest character. We're going to introduce his guest character organically, and Raph will jump in when his character appears. Obviously, people who are looking at YouTube or the stream can see a little bit of Raph's character with the overlay. I'm just gonna leave you guys guessing what that character's gonna be when we get to meet them a little bit later on. In terms of other news, thank you for those of you who joined me for the Valheim stream and the late night stream with Harley, where we were playing a little bit of Viscera cleanup detail. Obviously, Harley hasn't had a chance to do much streaming recently. He's another streamer, Lieutenant Downs. He hasn't had a chance to do much streaming, so it was great to get him back into it again. His internet's not been good enough up until now, so he's very, very excited to be streaming again. So obviously, I absolutely support his channel, he's down as one of the channels that I support in the bottom. You can go and check out his stuff in the suggested streams at the bottom of my Twitch. So go and check out Lieutenant Downs. I recommend his content highly.
He's also, unfortunately, my cousin.
Unfortunately, he is also your cousin. Yeah, it is. Yes. That is very unfortunate. Yeah, we don't talk about that very much. We're not a
For
big fan of
him
that.
or me, not decided yet.
Yeah, we don't know which way it goes. But yeah, I think that was the only bit of news I had. Yeah, that was the only bit of news. Ali, one thing I was going to ask, is your noise gate working? Because I can hear you typing, like, and normally your microphone is the best. You've got the best noise gate out of all of us. That's why I'm like noticing it, because your noise gate's better than my noise gate for 99% of the time.
Right.
So
let me move. Is that a bit better? I've moved it up.
No, it's the same. I reckon it's is it Logitech G Hub again? I swear to God, if Logitech G Hub is sabotaging the stream, 9 times out of 10, you know what it is?
It totally is.
It's Logitech G Hub. Every time we have the issues with the stream, it's Logitech G Hub. I want to put this out there. We're not sponsored by Logitech. I don't want to be sponsored by Logitech. Fuck you and your shit products. No, I'm kidding. But also, sort out G Hub. Come on, seriously. If you're going to acquire all these companies, please get them all working together with your stupid software. Look, it's a hard message, and they've got to hear it from somebody. And if it's not us, who are they going to hear it from? All right, I better do a little bit of a recap and introduction to get us into the stream, and then we'll jump straight back into where we left off last session. There was one more thing. The wiki. Thank you, everybody who has been checking out the Lost Archives wiki page. That is now pretty much set up and ready to go. I've been filling in more information as I've gone along. I've also added the 2 new custom races I created for Nostea there, and also on D&D Beyond, so you can access both. So if you want to play as the Giant Forged, which is the race that Lockie is playing, that Michael's playing, you absolutely can. And I've also recently added the Maloran Orc, which is the variation of the Orc that we're using in Nostea, because obviously there's no half orcs, so that has been replaced with the Maloran orcs, or Sea Orcs is the colloquial name for them. So yeah, if you want to play a really cool custom race that is balanced, I promise, perfectly balanced, as all things should be, you can go check them out on the wiki or on D&D Beyond. They're available through either. And yeah, if you want to help me edit the wiki and add stuff, please feel free. I'm going through and adding the chapter summaries at the moment. I've finished the summary for chapter 1, which covers the introduction to the campaign, and I'll be going through and adding as much information as I can whenever I've got time. But if you guys want to give me a hand in the community, just go to fandom and type in the Lost Archives wiki in the fandom search, and you'll find it. It hasn't been indexed by Google yet, but that should be happening in the next week or so. Just depends on how quickly Google's spiders crawl across the web and find it. No, that's what they're called, spiders, literally. That's the actual term for it.
Really?
I know, yeah, seriously. I'm not kidding you.
Like a Google deity.
Google deity.
Yeah,
Yes, I
like
love the goddess of Google.
You are.
Do no drow. All right, so
That's a very, very like American Gods like inside thing to say, like the god of Google.
The god of
I'm
Google.
sure it exists somewhere. You can
100%.
believe hard enough.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. Alrighty, I'll do a quick recap of the story so far, and then we'll jump straight into the excitement in the session. The Tempest Adventuring Guild, a group of mercenaries, explorers, and adventurers, has been working to thwart the machinations of a group known as the Order of the Dragon. This cult has been amassing power, wealth, and knowledge in an attempt to perform a ritual which would bring a dark draconic god, Tiamat, back into the world. Our story has been following the escapades of some of the members of this group: Mira, Jin, Lockie, Yervith, and Shana, who have travelled to Chiari, the draconic nation, to work against the cult's actions there. Despite facing overwhelming odds, the party have succeeded in driving the cult out of Veloxur. With many of the children of Tiamat now killed or captured, and Sidus, the sinister black dragon that was semi in charge of this group, having been driven from the city, the victory unfortunately hasn't been one of triumph, but one of sorrow. The damage that the cult has wrought can't be washed away so quickly and so easily. The city is still recovering, people searching for their friends and loved ones lost during the conflict, and homes destroyed and fires still burning. After a brief respite back at the Silverscale estate, which is the estate they've been staying at, the estate of Otalia Karnos, or Elia, their silver dragon friend and Mira's old boss in the city, they travelled to Fafnir, a old dragon who had a wealth of knowledge stored in a series of vaults underneath the city. Fafnir had reported some of the items had been potentially missing. He hadn't located or identified any items missing, but he knew the cult had been active and had done something to prevent him from being able to stop them, some aspect of his memory being modified as well. After a very thorough investigation of one of the vaults, the party discovered that the cult hadn't stolen some things, the cult had stolen everything. and replaced them with illusionary duplicates designed to fool creatures with true sight, ancient dragons. Choosing to not reveal this to Fafnir, lest they be on the receiving end of his ire, the party danced a very careful fandango around the subject and were able to somewhat sort of bluff him off a little bit, temporarily. We left off as they were on the back of Otaliacanos, Elia heading for the Worm's Respite Estate, the winery where they had stashed their airship, not wanting to take it into the city, given that the cult were active there, and where they had last met up with Bacchus, a large green dragon who had been full of mirth and merry, but who they had last seen being captured and dragged off towards some cells deep within the city. We jump straight back in exactly where we left off. You guys on the back of Elia, clinging on, Shana with her long, sinewy snake tail and lack of legs, having to wrap herself around one of the spines physically to like maintain contact with Elia. As the dragon flies low overhead, as Elia flies low over the city, the smoke sort of still rising from some of the outer districts. You can see far ahead of you the open plains and the vast deserts of Velok Sur, this very large open stretch around the city, devoid of farms in this southern portion where you're flying. In the distance, just beyond a small rise, you can see the very stark green of the Worm's Respite Estate standing out very clearly against the desert background. And as you fly low overhead, Elia's shadow casting a large dark shape below you on the road, you can see some travelers moving to and from the city, some heading into the city, some leaving, with goods packed up in carts as if escaping the devastation, while others rushing into the city maybe to locate loved ones or to discover what's gone on. Shivers, our guest character.
Hello.
You are currently walking along a large stretch of desert road between the city of Velok Sur and this location that you've been pointed to, the Worm's Respite Estate. Several of the Dragonborn that you've spoken to, who remembered seeing these adventurers, these outlanders coming in on the back of a dragon originally coming in on a cart from the Worm's Respite Estate and playing a pivotal role in the events that have occurred in the city. Remember, they had come from the Worm's Respite Estate and had heard rumours that Bacchus had been hosting them there. Rumours perpetuated by Bacchus himself, it seems. And so your journey on foot continues. The dry desert heat doesn't bother you. Coming from the lower portion of the Shattered Isles, you've spent a lot of time in the heat. And even though this landscape is a lot drier than what you're used to, obviously being used to more coastal areas, you find that the contrast is not unpleasant. Your clothes well designed to deal with the heat. Suddenly a large shadow falls across you, and as you look up, you see the massive form of a gargantuan silver dragon flying low overhead. Around it swoops a green drake, or a smaller dragon, hard to tell, much smaller, about the size of a large dog, maybe a wolfhound or a large deerhound, swooping low, flying around this large dragon, this green drake flying and wheeling above them. And as the dragon passes overhead, on its back you can see a number of individuals clinging on. Individuals that match the descriptions you've been given to locate. As the dragon swoops down and lands in the courtyard of this large winery, the large brewing house in the background, you see a green dragonborn with large green wings, probably most alarmingly, 7 foot tall, step out, a large, jagged, reddish-brown scar across his chest that still is slightly weeping, sort of rush out and begin like calling, "Ah, my friends, you have returned!" And you see this only 100 meters down the road as you begin picking up the pace a little bit to go and catch up with these people you've been sent to locate. For the Tempest Guild, as you guys arrive and land, you see Bacchus running out of the gates, now sporting a massive jagged scar across his midsection that looks to have been carved from his scales slowly. He greets you with the same level of enthusiasm and joy, large smile across his draconic form that you're used to seeing. You can see in one hand he is clutching a bottle that seems half full. And as you guys sort of begin landing, Elia transforms back into this silver dragonborn form. With the big silver golden wings. Silver golden? With the big silver reflective wings catching the gold of the sun behind her. There you go, justified that well. You can see Bacchus sort of rushing over. "Ah, my friends! You are alive and well. It is so good to see you. I see you have all come out of this unscathed. That is good to see. Very good indeed. How fared your time in the city?"
Sorry.
Wouldn't necessarily say unscathed, Bacchus. Some of us carry wounds, memories.
Yes.
Not
You
in
notice.
a good place.
I look very tough now. I have large scar to show my battle prowess. They tried to break me, but cannot break me. I'm too tough. And I was way too drunk. I had a lot of alcohol when they came to take me away. I was no help with any questions. They just asked me things and I laughed in their faces. It turns out they did not like that. You can see this large, jagged, reddish-brown scar across his midsection. It looks deep, Yervith. You think he's already received some sort of healing, but it is deep. Just a heads up, Michael and Claire. Claire, your camera has dropped, and so we can't hear either of you, just so you know. I can see you nodding, so you know. Yeah. Elia gives a very deep bow. Bacchus, I'm so sorry to hear that you received a wound. I don't... When did that happen? I must have missed that during the fighting. When did that occur? It was not during the fighting. They were trying to question me for information on you lots. They wanted to know what I had done, how I had helped you, and also wanted to know how I had poisoned the elders. Stupid question. I had not poisoned the elders, but clearly they had put poison in one of my brews. Troubling indeed.
As you guys are talking, a figure comes around the edge of one of the gates. Shivers, you have just done a bit of a jog. Obviously, running's not your strong suit, and being outside, lots of physical exercise is not something that you're particularly gifted with. But your lithe form and your natural dexterity have sort of given you a bit of a burst of speed. And as you come around the corner, the people you see in front of you match the descriptions you've been looking for. Absolutely. What I'm going to do is get everyone to describe their characters a little bit to each other so that we can have everyone be on the same page. So I'll get our guest, Raph, to describe Shivers to us, please, as the first character you guys see.
So Shivers is a tabaxi hairless cat, sphinx cat, I think they're called. Looking dude. He's kind of got his face colorings are kind of like very skull-like, and he's wearing just simple garb, kind of a just simple grey cloak with the hood sort of half on, trying to protect his very bald head from getting crispy fried by the sun. And he's carrying a staff in one hand that's got just a whole bunch of different bangly bits all over it. It's just got talismans and other things, and it definitely jangles as he jogs up the road towards you guys.
For the stream watchers in YouTube, I've just put Raph's character art front and center on the screen so that you guys
Very
can
nice
see it.
artwork too.
Thank you very much.
Looks right.
It's one of my favorites that I've done ever. It's just great character brief, really inventive. I've had a lot of fun making it. Just gonna be flat out and honest with that. It just was loads of fun making that character art, and it's something original. I was saying to the guys before, there's not a lot of reference art that I could use to help me get an idea of what a Sphinx tabaxi would look like. It turns out that there are no Sphinx tabaxi art that I could find on the internet. So there probably are Sphinx tabaxi artwork out there, but I couldn't find them, and I gave it a good solid look. And I went to page 2 of Google, so you know I was serious.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I know. But yeah, so I'll definitely have this up on the ArtStation page and on the wiki, so that other people, and I'll chuck it on Twitter too, so that if you want to check it out, you are more than welcome to. Really cool character design from Raph there. So I was very stoked to get to draw it. But that's what you see. This tabaxi, very interesting looking tabaxi. You've probably not seen a Sphinx tabaxi before either, that particularly sort of hairless look. Probably at first there's not a realization it's a tabaxi. It's like, oh fuck, that's a weird fucked up some sort of, what is that? Is it like an elf? Like that's got really, is it like an elf that's been out in the sun too long? Like, oh no, it's a cat. It's like that weird thing where it's like, what, is it going to be soft when I touch it or like weird and wrinkly?
It's like a chupacabra.
Exactly. It's like a chupacabra. Yeah. Ali, would you like to describe Shana so that Raph knows what Shana looks like?
So probably the first thing that people notice when they see Shana is that she is an Naga. So she's top half woman, bottom half snake. So the snake tail, depending on what mood I'm in when I draw, is usually a shade of purple or pink or, somewhere around that tonal range.
Been a bit of a bitch since I did her official character art based on her specifications, and now she's changed the color again. So I'm going to have to go back and rechange Shana's scales from this blue color I did.
I think I change it literally every time I do a pick.
Yeah. I'm just gonna
color theory fits.
I'm just gonna give her like a metallic sheen, like with cars how they have that metallic sheen and it changes depending on the perspective. I'm gonna give her that so she's like
chrome. Do you like chrome pink blue?
Yeah, that's it. Oh, that's gonna be pimpin'.
Yeah. She's got long white, sort of silvery blue hair, snake eyes, crescent moon on the forehead. And she's just generally decked out in sort of gold cuffs, arm cuff, blue sort of top, and sort of like goes into like a half skirt sort of thing because she can't really wear normal pants. And yeah, that's pretty much Shana.
Alrighty, and Jin, would you like to describe, or I should say Jared, would you like to describe Jin for us?
Yes, so
Jin. What does Jin currently look like right now?
What does he currently look?
So he's currently sitting next to Yervith because he, for some reason, has an idea that they're brothers. I don't remember why, but that was a joke a long time ago. Anyway, he's standing there, sort of antagonizing him. He's quite small right now, like 3-4 foot tall, a bit slimy and a bit wet.
Oh no! You've been listening to chat. Fucking hell! He's a grung.
Oh no!
He's a grung.
See, and there. Jin is now finally a frog.
There you go. You happy, chat? This has been a 3-week thing, because Jin went against his patron 3 weeks ago, and chat wanted his patron to punish him by turning him into a frog. He's now a grung.
Brune Brass Axe.
Yep.
There you go. He is now a grung. He's a frog.
And do you need like a bucket of water?
Yes,
no, because he doesn't take on the physical traits. He just looks like it.
Oh, he doesn't. Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't take on the strengths and weaknesses of the character he disguises himself as. He just looks like it.
I'm moderately disappointed by that.
Otherwise, Jin would just turn himself into a fucking Yuan-Ti every day and have magic resistance, right? Like.
What?
Yeah, but I should say that Jin hasn't changed his clothes, so he's wearing his Illyrian clothes. So you see this grung dressed in really fine elven wear that's designed for a 6-foot-tall elf on this 3-foot-tall frog.
I would like to think that it was very. I think he committed to the joke way too quick to take anything else into consideration.
Yep. Yeah, then that's what happens.
Maybe Yervith didn't really like frogs. I don't know why this has come up, but I'm just going to roll with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Michael.
But normally, I'll quickly.
Yeah.
Normally, what I actually look like is like a 6-foot-tall sort of half elf. That's my normal look. Sort of like medium length, sort of like auburn sort of hair, and wear these nice sort of intricate, sort of like bard clothing that resembles a bit of like a noble sort of flair to it.
Yeah, it's a very fancy tunic with a half cape that he wears.
And I have a very nice magical harp now.
He does. Strapped to his back is a beautiful looking harp that you have not yet attuned to, just so you know.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Cool.
I need to know that for every time you try and play it without being attuned to it.
But I'm going to be a grung for a fair significant part of this.
Oh god.
Because why not? I'm not going to commit to it for at least an hour.
You too can join.
Transform like the dragon?
Yeah, he did on the back of
Dedication is key.
Yep, that's it. So for the audience, you too can be a part of the stream and shape the narrative as well in the most annoying fucking ways possible by joining us live. And you can also do cool things like spending channel points to give advantage and disadvantage to players or the DM, summoning monsters, creating NPCs, or other fun aspects to help shape the story. Michael, would you like to describe Lockie? And just a heads up, Shivers, you would have seen Warforged before. This is a bit of a strange looking Warforged, just in advance. You would know this with your history. You would immediately recognize Warforged, and then, ooh, that's not a normal Warforged. Alrighty. Michael. Oh no, we can't hear you.
Oh no.
Oh no.
My problem.
Tell you what, while you guys are getting that set up, Matt, do you want to describe Yervith to us?
Yeah, sure. So probably looking slightly because he's now being Yervith now being assailed by a grung.
Yep.
Which so happens to be Jin.
Yes.
You see a probably just over pretty tall. I'd say he's like 6'5". I'd probably have his but anyway, he's probably just like 6'5", like pretty tall wood elf. With like I guess like silver gray hair, very long, sort of pinned back a little bit. Very defined features in his. You can tell that this is an elf that's probably been in the elements for most of his life. Very weather beaten, various scars and cuts sort of on his face, and at the moment with the climate, he's got his sleeves open, and you can see the skin, and you can see cuts and various bruises and things as well. But yeah, wears a very fun cloak, which is blended with his surroundings. For those that are playing at home, it is his mantle, and yeah, just sort of adorned with just a sort of like Dagab leather armor. You can see a couple of weapons kind of at his holster. A very impressive longbow on his back, and various arrows in his quiver to go at a moment's notice. And his eyes at the moment are a very striking green, which matches his Drake.
Yes,
Eleanor, which
at his
is
side.
probably nearby.
Yes, absolutely. At your side is a large dragon. I shouldn't say large dragon. Is a small dragon, the size of a large dog. Again, you've never seen anything like this before, Shivers. You've never seen a dragon like this. It's basically like a large dragon dog, but with wings, and clearly it can fly. Very bright emerald green scales, very similar in color to Yervith's eyes at the moment. And as you come around the corner, this thing immediately clocks you, lowers its head a little bit, and growls. Not menacingly, but as a warning to let them know you're there, and as a notification to the cat.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Michael and Claire, it sounds like your camera and mics are all working again. Michael, would you like to describe Lockie?
Okay. Well, you see a metal man that is probably about 6 feet tall, and he looks a bit lanky, a little bit skinny, but he's made completely of clockwork and small gears and things that are attached and moving, all like almost mechanically. And so all through him, around his chest is a little bit larger and seems to be a slightly different metal. So his body's looks like it's made out of something like copper or possibly like terracotta or something along those lines, where around his chest, the larger part seems to be an armor made of aluminiums and other metals and such like that. And at his arm, he's got a large shield. It's also embossed with clockwork runes and things on it. And inside, implanted in his chest, where there should be more metalwork, there is a stone cube that seems to be floating and slowly turning, held up by magic magnets. Who knows?
Yeah, the cube itself is constantly sort of breaking apart and reforming into different sort of smaller cubes at all times, and is inlaid with a series of runes that you do not recognize, never seen before. And yeah, the copper parts of the copper have sort of coloured verdigris, I think, haven't they, Michael, where they've got this like beautiful green coloration that make almost like these spiraling patterns or jagged patterns across Lockie's body. But yeah, clockwork Warforged, you've never seen anything like that.
I have a question about that, actually.
Yeah.
With Lockie, when he moves, does the stone stay at the same like speed, or does it stop with Lockie as he moves?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question. For the very first time, Yervith, as you look, it moves in perfect harmony with Lockie.
Right. Okay.
And when Lockie turns, it stays in position and rotates as he rotates around it. And then as he walks off, it slowly rotates back into a primary position.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And last, and certainly not least, probably the most striking looking of the group, Mira.
That was very kind to say so. But no, Mira is a Dragonborn. She's a silver Dragonborn, but she's got exactly half her body and head is red. And on that side she's got a blue eye, but on the other side she has what's clearly an artificial eye that's got this sort of swirling red but tinged with all these different colours, iris and sclera as well. So it's quite clearly magical. She wears robes, she carries a staff, but she is quite unique. Probably wouldn't have seen.
You've definitely never seen a dichromatic dragonborn before. Definitely. She is unique. Definitely. Yeah, and it's almost like a chimeric kind of spread across the body and the face. It's not perfectly even. It sort of moves and spreads, and parts of the tissue kind of catch it at different points. And it looks very, very interesting.
Like a tabby cat.
What was that? Sorry.
Like a tabby cat.
Like a tabby cat, exactly. Standing next to them is, as I said, a 7-foot tall green dragonborn with massive wings, and the silver dragon that you saw before land is gone. In its place is a 7.5-foot tall silver dragonborn with massive silver wings, dressed in this elegant white toga. And as you sort of like come in, turn around, Bacchus turns and goes,
"Ah, you have new friends. Does your new friend want a drink as well?"
Hello. I believe you are the group that I have been searching for. You meet the description at any rate. I have been sent. I'm sorry, where are my manners? I am the coldest dark before the dawn. Or shivers is probably simpler for you. I am come. I am here.
So, where are we currently?
the Worms Respite Estate in the
Bacchus's,
Bacchus's place.
Okay.
You're at Bacchus's pad. Sorry, Ali.
Sorry,
what
what
were
did
you
Ali say? We cut her off.
I was just gonna say, you're not here to kill us, are you? Most new people that we've met lately have tried to kill us.
No, quite the opposite. I require urgent assistance.
With what exactly? Kind of a little bit of an outplated.
Oh, I didn't think that far ahead, actually. It would probably be easier if I took you back to my master, who could give you a better idea. I was kind of just sent to get help.
And where are you from exactly?
Where am I from, dear?
So Shivers, you do know why you're there. Like you've been given specific information to help encourage the party to come back with you. You've been sent only because Iskander couldn't, only because he's unable to come at the moment. You've come from a location on the Shattered Isles, an old tower known as Zonthar's Tower, or Zonthar's Tower, I should say, which is on one of the lower sections of the Shattered Isles. You know that Iskander has sent you to say, I'm willing to trade the Blue Dragon Mask. I know they're after the Dragon Masks. I'm willing to trade the Blue Dragon Mask for my safety. You need to get them here. You know that. You know that that's the deal.
There's a dragon mask involved. We are currently trying to work out how it works. Let me start from the beginning. That's would probably be best, wouldn't it? Can we get out of this sun? It's
I'm
very
gonna waddle up to him.
Fucking bro. Yes.
I'm gonna look him up and down with a stern look. Now, how do we know you're not part of the cult? Come on now, we've just had a queue in this city. Who the hell are you, huh? As I look up and down.
I am part of a cult is a strong word.
No, you know you're part of a religion. You know your organization is known as a religion.
Religion is a better fit than cult, I would think.
Just be aware as well. Like I am like a 3 foot strong with like oversized clothes. Take me seriously at your leisure.
By the way.
Well, you're not in the description either, mate. I don't even know who you are.
Now, Jin.
No, I'm not Jin, mate. I'm run down Johnny Eagle, mate.
Oh no. Oh god. Elia sort of seeing this and knowing where Jin's going with this and knowing how Jin operates.
He's way too much of a method actor.
Yes, I think that's so one of Jin's character flaws is when he's in character, he gets in character. Elliot sort of
He's part
noticing
of the
this.
mafia.
Oh god. Elliot goes, yes, I think that was a good idea. Let's come in out of the sun. Bacchus, do you have maybe one of the private rooms if we're going to be discussing things like this in the open?
Ah, yes, I have one of the private rooms you can come and join me in. And I heard Mira say something about some wine, yes?
I did, actually, yes.
Ah, I could tell you had a fierce thirst. One which I shall quench, young lady.
Well, this cat, Tabaxi,
Tabaxi, please. Shivers.
looks parched.
Why are you so wrinkly?
I mean,
What's wrong
why are
with
you
You've
so
been out in the
slimy?
sun.
Why are you so slimy? It's a good
Touche
point.
there, my friend. Touche there.
Do you ooze? Is that what is happening?
Frequently.
I don't really know, to be honest. I
What?
He's
waddle off.
an oozer and a schmoozer. Bacchus begins to, yes, come with me. I have something for Shivas. I think I have some champagne, some sparkling white wine, a Shivas Regal that we could give to Shivas.
Oh.
Come. Thank you. Yes,
Could you,
good.
perhaps before we get private room, send word to Leosin and the crew that we have.
Ah, yes, your crew. I shall tell them to come and meet us immediately. They must be parched as well. I believe they had a little bit of a scare.
Oh, I no doubt did.
Well, when the estate was raided,
That's not his voice. He's more Greek than that. They get with the voice in my head.
business snake.
There we go. I've got it.
There it is.
When the estate was raided, they came in and took me. It was terrible. They shackled me. They punched me in the face. They stabbed me with various things. It was awful. I tried to get them away, but they were too hard to get rid of. And then some of your members, some of your brave people came down and tried to fight too. There was a tiny gnome who was throwing little coins at people, and when the coins touched them, they exploded. I've never seen anything like it. It was intense. And there was also the half-elf who refused to drink with me every time I asked him. He said he was working on the job. He could not drink on the job. What a square. Anyway, he came down and he was punching people, and he had like glowing fists. It was pretty cool.
That would be Leosin.
That's
Professor
pretty cool.
Griswold.
Yes, that was his name. He called his own name as Battle Cry. It was very funny. He went, Griswold, and then threw lots of coins. And then he tripped on face and had to be carried back to ship. But the coins were impressive, no?
Did the queens explode or anything, or were they just sort of projectiles?
When the coins touch people, people explode.
Projectile.
I assume things
Chris
were
was
lit.
holding out on me. I have to tell him how he did that, so he can make an enchant my arrows. I was like, that would be pretty impressive.
That would be very impressive. Would be quite dangerous, no? What if you managed to like jingle arrows in your quiver? They touch each other and poof, Yervith go boom.
I don't want to go boom.
No, I don't want to go boom. Those people certainly know we should go boom. But now they fertilize good wine, so no loss for everyone. I call it the Uprising Vintage. I think it is a good name, no?
Definitely remember.
A new definition of blood and bone fertilizer.
Literally, blood and bone, exactly. It worked very well for vines. They love it. Some of the more experimental varieties, though, a bit more thirsty. The roots were like growing into the bodies. Is that normal? I know I have placed many enchantments on these things. When I say I have paid wizards to put many enchantments on these things. I assume that is good, right?
I
They
think
said
you should get to look at that. That sounds...
I'm sure that's normal.
I think you need a druid.
That was for some of the plants that were making flowers for honey. I was told this would be blood meat. Is that not how that works?
I think it's as long as you feed it.
I will keep you posted. Maybe in 2 years when it is ready, you come back and drink, eh?
We come back and
Literally drink the blood of our enemies.
Little horrors.
Feed me, Akani.
Please come in. I will give you much rest and many drinks. Come.
And you are gestured through and pushed basically into this large antechamber. Off towards the sides, you can see, rather than going into the main tasting area that he has set up that you were last time, he takes you into a smaller private room with a single bar and a number of stools around it. And on the wall behind, less of the more exciting, interesting, random, crazy-looking bottles that he had previously, all of the insane alchemical bottles. These look to be much more normal-looking bottles, as in they are like a single cylinder with a smaller cylinder that liquid comes out of, rather than like a collection of random shapes, like a glass bowl has got the hiccups when they made them. He sits you down and grabs a couple of bottles and places them. I have good red, good white, and good rosé. You drink as you see fit. Please, glasses. Now, wrinkled one, brownish one. Tell us what is.
Is there
Your
any
box.
chance of one of those plates again?
You want one plate? I get you one plate. I forget you could not have alcohol. Strips things from inside you say. I will get you one plate.
It'd be very uncomfortable.
I will be right back. He goes to the door, calls out, 1 plate! 1 plate! Probably someone will answer that. Okay. Yeah, now wrinkled one. You were saying things about the cult that we do not like, but you are not part of. You are part of genuine religion, you say.
Yeah, yes.
Very
genuine
compelling.
religion.
Very compelling argument.
No, definitely not a cult. A genuine religion. What is the cult?
You haven't heard?
I may have.
The cult of the dragon. They seem to be rising the world of late.
Yes.
They were
Yes, I have.
involved in uprising. They are always known as the Children of Tiamat. Perhaps you've heard of them.
Yes, that is familiar to me.
Yeah, your master's been employed by them for the last week, and you've been assisting.
Oh,
Yeah, you know that name. Order of the Dragon, definitely. Yeah. But you've been helping out identify this magic item they've asked you to look at. This weird mask.
They're a cult, you say? And they have been doing bad things?
Yervith just looks at the window at like the city of Luxor in the distance. Like,
Yeah.
I'm assuming like smoke.
Oh yeah, smoke rising.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, looking out there and I'm like, yeah, they've done some bad things lately.
And now that you think about it, Shivers, they haven't paid you yet.
This is
scumbag.
Just for some context.
Wait a second. So you've been identifying a magical item, and you've been working on what, on credit? That's ridiculous.
How is
Get the thing first.
Well, I'm tagging along. It is my master who is doing the identification. I am assistant is a strong word.
I am present.
Company. I am there. I am an existent rather than an assistant, I think.
Nice.
So you're squatting in his cave?
Yes.
In his bathtub, in fact. No.
Shivers just reaches for whichever wine is the coldest, because you can tell that
The
he's
white.
Yeah.
He doesn't even pour it. He just uncorks it, and then with his tongue, Bacchus just looks at you and goes, "I like your style. I will get fresh bottle." For rest of group, you know your thing, cats.
So yes, I was given a description of your group, and I was asked. Look, it is probably, now that I know that these guys are not quite as... again, from the beginning, we were hired by a group who I am now assuming are not the good guys.
It's like an episode of fucking What We Do in the Shadows. It's great. You've got the vibe. You've got the vibe bang on.
Peter, we're having a house meeting. You want to come up, Peter? I brought you a chicken, Peter.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love
just
that
take
movie
the
so
chicken.
much.
Yeah.
So good.
It's just
Vampires,
Oh my
not
God.
the dishes.
yeah. Oh, you've got the vibe bang on, Raph. Sorry to interrupt. It's brilliant. Carry on, please. This is perfect. I'm enjoying this immensely.
We were hired, and frankly still not paid, to identify a particular mask that they have. Now, I don't really understand any of that. I am just there as a companion, I suppose. But my master, deep Deep or depth?
He goes with either. Yep.
Yeah.
It's just a
Deep-
nickname,
deep
so
depth.
he's happy with either.
He has been trying to work this mask out, but in the process, the tippy top of the cult leaders that we were dealing with, who it turns out are supposed to put cult in front of leader for these guys. He was just the leader, bad guy apparently now, who. How do I explain? He keeps on almost dying. All of his predecessors, they were all poisoned and they died. And now he got poisoned, but he didn't die. And now he's really kind of a little upset about it all. And he said that he would give you guys a payment of a mask, the mask that we're trying to work out, if you would come and stop him from dying more.
That's actually not a bad summary. It's not bad. If I had to roll a D100 for the percentage right, it's a solid 60. So that's awesome. In terms of like detail, I love it. It's perfect. It's exactly what your character would say. Elliot sort of looks and goes, "I'm not sure about you guys, but I do have some questions. Do you guys want to go first, and then I'll ask mine?"
I mean, frankly, I also have some questions.
I'd like it if you had some answers too.
I don't know about that. We can try.
Do you or your master have anything to do with the liberation of the knowledge and treasures of a particular dragon in the city at all?
Do I know
replace them with
anything about
illusions?
No, we were employed to find out what the mask was doing or did, and we haven't. And that is all. That is all I've been doing. They came, they found us on a little island, and they took us. Well, encouraged us, and now we're doing that. We are not. Am I the bad guy?
Why did they take you specifically? What was the interest there? Do you have some sort of better skills, perhaps? What is this blue mask? What can it do?
No, so I do not have the skills. Like I said, my master, he has been doing the workings. I am an incompetent companion.
Wait, did you say competent or incompetent?
I believe
Yes. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Yes. Sorry.
So what ways has your master almost dying?
What is say again?
Yeah, Matt, you were really glitching then.
Oh, was I?
I couldn't hear you over my wine sippings.
I'm sorry. In what has your master been dying specifically? Through just poisoning or?
Oh no, that is not my master. That is the man who hired us. I want to make full disclosure here. We are not part of this cult. This is a separate entity to myself. I am not the bad guy. I am just hired apparently by the bad guys. News to me. Fresh news.
Hot off press.
Quite lovely, actually. They're nice people. But yes, the man who hired us, who is the leader, cult leader, keeps on almost dying.
So you know that Jorgen Prowl, the human who hired you guys, he's fine. It's the second in command, Iskander, the Dragonborn, who recently was poisoned and had to come to you.
The almost leader.
Just checking.
He's been poisoned, but he's not dead yet. At least he wasn't when he sent me out, because I was speaking to him, and that doesn't happen often unless, you know. So, yeah.
It's a good summary.
This is confusing.
How was
You're
he-
telling me.
Just out of curiosity, if you didn't already mention it.
The what, sorry?
Do you know how he was poisoned? In the first place?
Yes. He took some poison and then it was poisoned.
Was the other?
That is true. But do you know what modus operandi was used to poison him? Was it a drinkable poison? Was it a stabbable poison? Did he lick the wrong frog? He looks over at Jin.
On purpose.
Nice.
Do I have any info?
Don't bring
on
me
that?
into this. Don't bring me into this.
Yeah. So you don't know. You don't know specifically what he was poisoned with, but you were able to recognize some of the symptoms, and so that's how you were able to stabilize him. Not because you knew what the poison was, but because you were familiar with some of the symptoms. You think it's something he ingested. A lot of his symptoms were very gastrointestinal. The bleeding from the eyes, that threw you a bit. You weren't really sure what was going on there, but you just dabbed at that very gently and it stopped after a while. So you figured like, okay, well, that's problem solved.
Clearly less important.
Yeah. And with the anal bleeding, same thing. You just shoved lots of like linen down his pants and just hoped that would stop. And it did eventually. Yeah.
Yeah. The adult diapers, they did the job. He ate or drank something that made him attempt to not live, but he got better, sort of. He's not doing well, but he's not dead.
Okay. So we're thinking this was an assassination attempt rather than...
Oh yes. Either somebody above him or somebody below him wants him dead. They have... it's starting to make more and more sense that these guys might be the bad guys, actually, now that I think about that. Nuances. So the somebody below him obviously wants his position, and somebody above him doesn't want him to get any more position.
Sounds like the cult of themselves from the inside.
Why all this for someone who's only second in command? That doesn't make sense to me.
That is also a valid question. Maybe it's happening all the way up and down the command, and it just happens to be that the second one is the one that he needed my help.
Was it? You didn't poison him to, get a position of assistant or...
Oh, absolutely not.
He's trying to believe him.
Shana can roll an insight check if Shana wishes to.
Insight check.
Yeah. I love that this is the first insight check you guys have rolled. Just want to point that out. It's the first one. Okay.
Also,
We've been too enamored in Ralph's character.
19, Shana. Yeah, so far, like, this character, this person who's appeared, Shivers, seems to be a little bit confused, maybe a little bit of a headache, a bit of heat stroke from being out in the sun. But so far, everything they've said, they believe. Definitely. They wholeheartedly. And you get when he says emphatically, like, oh no, I'm not part of the group. Are they the bad guys? Oh, I didn't know that. Like, you do believe him. He does seem to be very genuine in those moments. Elia looks at your sort of like outfit a little bit more, shivers, and goes, Your group, the group that you do belong to, the religious movement.
Yes.
Shattered Isles, you say? I'm guessing you spend a lot of your time in a ziggurat?
Oh, yes. I like those.
And your mistress would be Sulthai?
Yes.
Yes, I wondered that.
Do you follow her as well?
No, I worship the Platinum Dragon Bahamut, but that's very interesting. That makes a lot of sense now with your attitude. Would you like to share, or would you like me to give the group a quick overview of Mors Secris?
Yes, you, by all means. I quite enjoy hearing other people's takes on my heartfelt religion. Please.
I feel like this is a trap, and I'm going to not walk into it. Please, tell us about your beliefs. I was just going to give a very brief overview about your organization and where you are, which is the Shattered Isles. It's a fairly small religion by a number of other standards, but a very devout following, very, very devout. A number of races, primarily Tabaxan and Leonin, given its position in the Shattered Isles. But they worship Sulthai, the goddess of undeath.
She's lovely.
Sorry, the goddess of undeath?
Yes.
Wait, what? How is that possible?
Well, you see, you die and then you undie, and that's the bit where I come in.
They might need a bit more clarification, Shivers. For those of you who are not used to your tenants, they do find this concept quite shocking. Most people's exposure to things like necromancy and undeath are rather negative experiences, and I don't want that to be a reflection of your religion, because I don't believe it is a negative experience, and I want to make sure they understand that.
It certainly is not. It's quite holy. It is our gift to the world. Basically, people die as they're supposed to, but when the soul comes back, when the reincarnation happens, it is important to facilitate a reunion of sorts. So that's where we come in, and we reunite the old body with the soul, and they can experience that with them walking, and they don't talk very much, more the walking.
And that's a positive experience.
Oh yes. Wouldn't you like to know who you were?
What was that? Sorry, Lockie?
A positive experience for them as well as yourself?
Well, yes, as the one who can facilitate this part of the religion, to help, to guide, to pass on the knowledge. I am very proud of what I do.
Okay, and when they come back, they can talk. Yes.
No.
But they could have
just
talked
chilling around.
Yeah, it's a nuanced thing. It is difficult to explain, I suppose, to people not part
There
of it.
are some beliefs that we have to discuss to be able to make sense of this, and I'll do my best to clarify, but please step in if I get anything wrong. I know this in a scholarly perspective, not in a follower of the religion. You believe that when you die, you come back. You are reborn in a new body with a new form, but that body that you left behind is still yours, correct? It's just you've left it. Yes. So they believe that your previous bodies, that once you've died and been reborn, that previous body is still your property. I know it's not quite the right word. I'm just trying to explain it for them. I know it's a much more holy experience for you, Shivers. They believe it's their still their vessel, I think is the word, vessel? I think that's
yes, correct, yes.
And so what the priests of Sulthai do with more sacred is they spend time with the children when they reach adulthood and help them locate their past. Oh, it's not adulthood, is it? It's when they're quite young. They help them find their past body, reincarnate it. Well, I say reincarnate. They rise it.
We do, yes.
They bring it back from the dead. The body is preserved upon death. So when you die, your body is preserved and partially mummified. And then when a child gets old enough, they go with the priests and they locate their previous body, the body they used to have. And then I believe you set it in clay and stone and things like that to make it almost like a golem kind of construct, right?
Encased, yes.
Encased, protected.
Protected, yes.
And then the child is taught the Raise Dead spell, and they bring that body back to accompany them on the rest of their journey. And
yes, and they have themselves to be their friends forever.
Yes.
I have a question. So, when that person is away,
yes.
Does that mean there's just a line of golems?
No, this is not like some bizarre spiritual conga line. They do. It is just one generation. That would get far too complicated.
I just thought because that would be a lot. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
No worries.
It can sound strange to people who are not part of the faith. I understand. I myself, when I first read about this, was quite confused for a while. I met with one of your priests. about 213, 14 years ago, and I imagine the religion has sort of evolved and adapted a little bit since then, but sounds like the main...
Religions really do.
Yes, it sounds like the main tenets are still strong, and yes, you don't have your previous vessel with you.
No, I did not die very well previously. There was not enough to bring back. It happens. It is disappointing, and it is one of the main reasons why I became a priest in the first place. I could not be facilitated, so I will facilitate.
It's very
Parts of your unrecoverable body. Is it
Pardon?
sealed away? And do you still have the parts of the?
No, there was a foot. It was a bad fire. It was a very bad fire.
Sorry to hear that. And Owen, does Shana think this is sort of something that flesh mold might be able to help him out with?
Flesh mold?
Like, if he still has the foot, can she build a body?
Can she build a body out of the foot? That's a good question. Flesh molding, as far as you know, because you've only sort of seen it in action once or twice, what it seems to do is take existing tissue and modify it and change it. It's not adding or removing tissue. It's only changing and modifying what's already there. To add tissue, it needs to take it from somewhere else or already have existing tissue. So because your knowledge of flesh molding is so rudimentary and very secondhand at this point, probably in your mind, Shana's like, if I get this foot, I'm one step closer to bringing back Shana. Or bringing back Lyra, sorry. You're probably in your mind, you're like, yeah, maybe. But you just don't know enough about flesh molding. It's such a new thing that you've been exposed to. Elia sort of nods and goes, right, I'm still confused. So I know there are a number of specialists in magic who work for the priesthood for more sacres. Your master, you called him deeps or depths. You're not talking about... what was that name again? I swear I heard it once before. Is it deepest depths or hidden in deepest?
Yes.
Hidden in deepest
him.
depths.
You
Yes.
know him.
Yes. I have heard of him before. Quite a skilled arcanist.
Yes, he is.
Yes, I didn't realize he joined your order. As far as I knew, he was still working in one of the sanctums on the Shattered Isles with the Tabaxi Arcanum. When did he convert?
I do not know. I've never asked.
Very interesting. Well, that makes sense why they would go for deeps. That's interesting. I'm surprised he agreed without asking more questions. Well, what was this interaction like? How were you sold on this idea? How was it presented to you? What did they offer you in return for?
Frankly, it wasn't presented to me. It was presented to my master.
Yes, okay.
I am just I am better than a messenger boy, but we are not equals. He tells me what to do, and I do the things.
It's a very honored position to be working with Deeps. Are you interested in Arcana as well, or is it more you're there to keep him safe, or to?
Well, a little of column A, a little from column B. I am his companion. I find all things necromantic very interesting. But I just do what I can, where I can.
Interesting. Well, if you're one of the priesthood of Solthai, then I imagine you're quite a gifted spellcaster yourself.
Oh, I don't know. I can do a few spells, yes.
For the rest of you, you should know that the priesthood of Solthai are very, very highly trained in a number of magics that other groups would consider forbidden or dark. They believe that these things are not inherently evil. It's what people do with them. So I think one of the tenets...
Beautiful.
Indeed. I believe one of the tenets of your order is no knowledge is forbidden, correct?
That is true. No knowledge should be forbidden. How do you...
Forgive a bit of a Freudian slip there.
How could you... If you forbid knowledge, then you do not learn how to control it. That is how the problems start.
Absolutely. Right, so you've been sent here by a member of the Order of the Dragon.
Yes.
You said it was a Dragonborn.
Yes.
He's scared of being poisoned, or has been poisoned, and is fearing for his life. He came to you because he didn't trust anyone else?
Oh, yes. So we're, as not part of the Order, as outsiders, we, I guess, have no reason to plot against him.
Okay.
Not that he is aware of.
And he told you to seek out the Tempest Guild, these people
Yes, this is true. He said, find these people, and gave me descriptions, all except for the little one with the excretions. He was not on the list. And then I got kind of... They zapped me over here, and here I am.
So they knew to teleport you here?
Yes.
Right.
Well, sort of.
The cult knows about our activities.
Yes, that's...
Well, not here. I had to find out where exactly you were in town, or around about, which was tricky because everyone was kind of running around being a little bit hurt.
Yes, that was the cult, if you were wondering. The people who have tried to employ you.
Oh!
In case you were wondering, that's their doing.
Yes.
I was not wondering, but I'm now wondering and concerned.
That makes sense, considering, I mean, obviously the cult knew we were in the city. We were operating there only up until recently. So for them to send you here, they must have gotten it out pretty quickly. But that doesn't make sense. Why someone from the cult who we're actively fighting against want to employ us?
He said specifically he knew there was a mask. The mask, you want it? He said you would work for the mask. I am the messenger boy.
It's a good point, Yervith. I mean, from what Shivers has told us, it sounds like this Dragonborn is fearing for his life. He fears that the cult are trying to kill him, or people within the cult are trying to kill him, and so he's willing to turn on them. It could also be a trap. That's a very convenient bait to dangle in front of you on stream.
I am not affiliated with this group in any way. I am not trapping anyone.
Oh. No, Shivers. I don't think you're my friend.
Shivers, there's one way for us to be very sure of that. Do you mind if I cast a spell?
What is the spell?
It will compel you to tell the truth.
Oh, yes, sure.
Elia closes her eyes and begins tracing in the air, using her claws, these sigils that begin spinning around. As light begins to filter from her fingers and spread out, this orb radiates around you and creates this dome surrounding you with light. Could I have everyone who wants to resist this effect? If you want to resist it, you can roll a wisdom saving throw. If you do not wish to resist it, if you let this happen, you do not need to roll anything. I need to know, is anyone resisting this effect for Zone of Truth?
Yes, I'm going to have to resist this pretty hard.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
He had you for a second. I saw Matt just go. For podcast listeners, eyes wide open, curious face. No, so you choose to fail. While you are in this zone, all of you are compelled to tell the truth to the best of your ability when asked a direct question. Lockie rolled a natural 1. Shana's rolled a 16. Shana, you fail. Lockie, you fail. Yervith, you pass with a 21. But Shana and Lockie both fail. Lockie with a natural 1. Lockie, you're so compelled to tell the truth that you actually... For the moment, you've actually...
I'm with you on this one.
You've forgotten what lies are for this point. Like, it's the power, the magic has short-circuited part of your database. The concept of deception is temporarily locked out from your running access memory. You cannot access this particular part of your programming. You are incapable of deception until I tell you otherwise.
No.
It's not going to be too long. Wonderful. Shivs, do you mind if I ask you some questions?
No.
This Dragonborn who came to you.
Yes.
Was he deathly ill? Was he genuinely poisoned?
Yes, he was leaking the blood from all of the orifices.
That's enough. I don't need to know anymore. Thank you.
I staunched it. The anal one was
thank
quite
you.
bad.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Did it look like he genuinely feared for his life?
Yes. He seemed terrified of the fact that his anus and all the other bits were bleeding.
Did you know any of what we've told you about the Cult of the Dragon, their involvement with darker paths and solutions? Did you know any of this when you worked with?
No, I mean, I'm still technically employed, so it's work with, but they seem...
But before today, you had no idea about any of their involvement in these...
Oh, they all seem lovely, except for all the poisonings.
Very true. And you have no reason to bring any of these people into a trap. You have no reason to hurt them.
Personally, no. I was asked to bring them, so I have in the process of the bringing of them.
The mask that you and your master have been working with, could you describe it for me, please?
Yes. Yeah.
It is a blue mask made of scales from what looks to be a blue dragon. It is impervious to damage as far as you have seen, in the shape of a open dragon's mouth, stylized with this blue dragon's mouth. It's impervious to damage. It radiates a very strong aura of magic that is inscrutable, according to your master. Should I just do it in your voice for the... Do you want me to just...
Yeah, go on, do
okay. Yes, it is inscrutable. I have no idea what the mask does. It is covered in lots of scales. It is very blue. Very blue. Bluer than sky. And it's very strong magic, but no magic we know. We do not know how magic works. And I scratch it, no scratch. Every time. I hit it, no hit. Look like dragon go, ah. He uses his paws to make like a chomping mouth. There you go. Is that how is that?
That's bloody beautiful.
Thank you. Pass back over to Raph. Yeah.
Wow.
I love that we've already got a "my anus is bleeding" reference, and Raph's only been on the stream for an hour. Didn't take long. Very well. Does anyone have any other questions? The spell is still active for the moment. Does anyone have any questions for Shivers?
Are you going to kill us? Resurrect the bodies?
Second half, only if you want to. First part, no, I don't kill. That's the exact opposite of what I want.
I reverse death.
Yeah, I don't do the death bit. I do the bit where the death stops.
That makes sense.
Sort of.
Can you resurrect a Warforged?
I would like to try.
It's a good question. That's a really good question. I'll have to have a solid think about that. I'll get back to you.
I was dead for a while. I feel like.
Does something work on Warforged?
Revivify? Yes. That's a good question. I'll think about that. I imagine Raised Dead may well work on a Warforged. Would it work on a Giant Forged, however, because Lockie has no organic components. He is 100% inorganic. So,
I was out of commission and dead for a long time.
Yeah.
And I guess I was revivified, but it was from Lyra's magic.
I may have just found an extra feature I'll need to add to the Giant Forged custom race page. I'll think about that. Yep. Okay. Cool.
She was a kind soul.
Are you okay, Lockie?
I am working at 100% functionality.
Fantastic. Elliot nods.
What?
Yes, some of your scales are a little bit scary.
Oh, wait, where?
Around your horns.
Okay.
Shivers, I did have a question.
Yes.
What is your method for finding soul? How do you find an individual who has been reincarnated? What is the method?
The method of finding the dead person?
Yes, so you had someone who is passed, and then you said that you bring the reincarnated individual to their deceased belongings.
Yes.
The vessel, correct?
Yes.
What is the method for finding the individual?
Well, it's a little it is somewhat nuanced, but we categorize everybody who comes through.
Literally everybody.
we have a very large catacombs in Ziggurat. We have little toe taggies. Decorate them and put them on the toes. Everybody loves those.
I do a little smiley face on someone. I do it. A little cat going meow.
Always like those illuminated texts, like the really large first letter.
Yeah. That's it.
And basically, we take the children up and down the rows until they have a certain connection with the person that they come to.
You do also look for things like shared body marks or markings, scars that might carry across, and proficiencies as well. If a person was very dexterous in their life and then dies, your religion teaches that they probably will maintain some of that skill in their next life as well. So there's a process of keeping a very intense record, a very structured record of each person's life. And when they die, that's kept with them, and it's compared to the child's upbringing and how they've gone as well. So it's a mix of scientific and spiritualistic kind of approach. Yeah,
proof of nature over nurture.
Interesting. Here I was thinking that you were versing nature, yet you seem to respect it. I am intrigued.
Absolutely. The natural way is the only way. If a death occurs, a death occurs. But I mean, there's always ways around that.
Well, I have no further questions.
But if there are no questions, I do not wish to presume or to rush your group, but I feel as though this is somewhat pressing. We can't zippy zap back there. We have to walk because they know that I left, and I don't think that they were terribly happy about it. The rest of the group, which, I really am starting to put the pieces together. These guys might not be the good guys.
Wait, what do you mean the others were happy that you left?
Oh, the rest of the cult, those who were actively trying to kill this particular fellow.
So you know who did it? Is that what you're saying?
Oh yes, it could be anyone else in the cult.
Oh. So literally everyone else. Okay.
Yes.
I have a suspect list.
Sure.
I have a suspect list. It is very long.
I'm almost entirely certain that the Dragonborn did not do it.
Okay.
Because he was one who was poisoned.
This is true.
Who would make their anus bleed in such a way? No sane person.
You don't have to walk. My understanding of the world is limited, but I believe the Shire is across the sea, so that may be tricky to walk to.
Well, walk and swim.
He's just gonna fucking Galadriel in the Rings of Power, just swim back to Middle Earth. Just I almost made it to the Undying Lands, but you know what? No, I'm just gonna swim back to Middle Earth now.
I literally watched that episode yesterday. I'm like, what is happening here?
What a woman!
Swim back.
What a woman! She's like, I'm gonna swim back. No, I'm swimming back. Fucking amazing. My respect for Galadriel went from here to infinity. She's like, yeah, do you know what? My duty to Middle Earth's not done. I'm gonna swim back now. It's just what a legend.
Yeah.
Oh, love her.
Yeah. Anyway.
And now she's in Numenor. Spoilers, sorry. Oh my god. Yeah, so it's amazing. Elia sort of nods and goes, right, well, you're probably in for a bit of a surprise, Shivers. You won't be travelling by swimming or walking. I think you'll be able to travel by air.
Oh. On you?
No. Unfortunately, I will still have to remain behind. I have much to do here in the city. It is in quite a high level of disarray. But this group of adventurers here are the proud owners of an airship which has just been paid off by the Draconic Council. It is 100% their airship now.
Oh, congratulations. That is fun.
It may not look it, but my grung friend here is very happy about it.
I believe you.
Jared, who's currently packing, nods. The grung nods, like, really emphatically.
Yes.
Yes, oh, there he is. He's back. Amazing. At that moment, Leosin bursts into the room. For Wrath, for Shivers, you see an elven gentleman, quite tall, very lithe, with very slightly pointed ears. So I should say half elven gentleman. Black hair tied back into a ponytail, dressed in what looked to be very like monk-esque robes, so short sleeves cut to the very top of the arms, but with an undersleeve, almost like a long sleeve shirt underneath that wraps over around his middle fingers and creates almost like a half glove. Dressed in sort of blues and pale whites as he rushes in and goes, "Oh my god, you're all alive and okay. Fuck me, don't do that to me again. Ah, Yervith, Shana, Jin, Mira, Lockie, Wrinkled Cat. Hello."
Hello, I am Shivers, the coldest stack before the dawn.
Leosin, hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. So the city's on fire. Airship's fine. I'm sure you were wondering about that. Everyone's okay. We're fine. We're fine. Yes, but wow, that was sudden. I'm guessing your mission to the city met with some resistance.
I will waddle.
Yeah.
I will waddle up to him.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Jin, what have you become now?
Hello there, mate. So, just letting you know that we've paid off the airship. It's completely paid off.
That's true.
Oh, wow. Firstly, fantastic. That's excellent news. Goodness me. Congratulations. Well, I'm guessing the mission all went well in the end then.
Oh, it was a bit of a tough one and all, but we pulled through all right, mate.
Great. That's fantastic. My goodness, that's. I just feel stress lifting off my shoulders. I feel a bit lighter. That's great. I mean, we were under crushing debt, and I was trying not to sort of make it obvious to you guys, but it was crushing.
I know.
Like,
I'm the
genuinely.
only one who's actually paid attention to that, and I turn around and gaze at each of my compatriots. Yes. Anywho, perfect. Well, the airship's paid off. That's great news. We can use that money that we are getting for other things.
That's great. That's awesome.
This
Azur will be spending that money, I'm sure, but I have temporarily locked his accounts, so he should not be able to talk to the bank and get any money out for the moment. It's not that I don't trust him, he just gets excited. He was talking about uniforms and trying to get like custom uniforms made for everyone, and he'd drawn this picture of what Shana could wear, and it was this long, thin, almost like a scarf that you could crawl up inside. It's very sweet, but very impractical. I genuinely, I tried to explain that you probably couldn't move while in that because it would prevent you from being able to actually slither because you've got no contact with the ground. Yeah.
Leosin, it's good to see you too.
It's really good to see you guys are okay. Hi, you've picked up a new friend. Welcome to the Tempest Adventuring Guild. Do I get him a badge or?
I think he's already affiliated with another organization. Yes.
Well, loosely affiliated with one organization and also part of a religion.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Either one, not quite eligible yet.
Oh. No, I understand.
Because Leosin doesn't know how long you've known him, and he looks, he's like, and then mouths, "I'm so sorry" to you guys. It's just, like, last time when Yervith, that you just brought this elf out of the jungle, and he was like,
This one was employed by the cult for a start, and he's religious.
Oh wow. That's okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Very religious.
Very religious. Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's a very specific religion. It's not like, you go to heaven. It's just a lot of people.
There is no heaven. You come back and you are a zombie. Yay!
Much more better.
Yeah, much more better. Yes. Okay. No further questions. I genuinely don't want to know any more about that. I feel like if I ask questions, I'm just.
How are the crew? How's everyone going?
Yes.
How's everyone fare?
Good. Yes, Arvel was fucking fierce. He bit a man's hand off, a Dragonborn's hand off. I did not know Leonin. You know how he always seems like such a calm, rational individual. Turns out when he's pissed, you don't want to be in front of him. Yeah. I don't know if he swallowed it. I had to turn away. And I haven't asked. It's too awkward. Griswold had some weird things. He was throwing these metal discs that when they touch people cause people to explode a bit. It turns out that was his entire stock of them. He was going to show them to Lockie at some aspect he pulled out of some engine, he thinks. He was calling it some sort of giant's engine or giant's combustion engine. And he got a bit... I don't know. It was weird. Like, there was a weird energy when they arrived, and I think we were all a bit affronted at when they attacked Bacchus, who's just so lovely, and like he basically said he'd come willingly, and then they just started attacking him, and Bacchus goes,
Yes, that was less than good bit. I did not enjoy that very much.
yeah, and I mean, Arvel just like roared, and that kind of like fired everyone up. Grisha, yeah, was like punching people, obviously. Yeah, it was intense, and Griswold just ran out screaming his name. Like, literally just running, going...
Oh, yeah. Bacchus told us. That was really...
Yeah, it was... Yeah, I don't know what that was about. But, yeah. And then he tripped and hit his head, and he knocked himself unconscious. So, that was less than great. But, we got through it okay. The helpers, your staff, Bacchus, were able to help us keep the airship protected, and then... I mean, obviously, you offering to trade large amounts of wine for them leaving the airship alone was great. They didn't take that offer, obviously, so we ended up having to take off in the airship. We took a number of the staff with us, and we just went on a little trip around the mountains and then came back and parked when we got the message of the all clear. But you'll be pleased to know the item that we've been keeping safe downstairs is still intact. Shana, I imagine that's probably been on your mind a fair bit. Sorry, Ali.
Maybe more than a little bit. Good to know.
Yes, but no, that is fine. We've kept that safe. Well, Shivers, is it? Are you joining us on a little jaunt? Are you?
You are all joining me, apparently.
Great. Well, Shivers, I welcome you aboard an Air of Decency when we get there to our airship. We do have a spare crew cabin. I can probably set you up in one of the cabins if you've got some... And then looks and notices that you have nothing with you, just the clothes you're wearing.
I have my stuff.
You've travelled light. Yeah. Oh, we'll find somewhere that you can put that staff down safely if you wish.
Okay.
If you want. I don't want to press you at all.
No, I travelled light, as you said. I think literally, actually.
Yeah. Ginny, are you going to stay like that this whole time? Because it's really annoying. Why am I telling the truth all the time? What is going on? And then Elliot looks and goes, oh, right, yes. Cancels the spell. And he sort of pauses and goes, wow, sorry, Jin, I didn't mean to be rude.
That's alright, mate. Look, this is getting a little bit too slimy for my liking anyway. So then with that, I'll sort of start shifting and morphing my body and turn back into my half-elf form.
So Shivers, you watch as this white flesh begins to flow over his body, and as he slowly takes on this very androgynous, amorphous form of this humanoid, but with yellow eyes and a white skin tone that very slowly starts bleeding into a paler skin color before taking on a slightly tanned elven appearance with long brown hair. Brown eyes, I think, Jin, as well. Have you got brown? You've got auburn hair and auburn eyes, I think.
Yeah, like sort of amberish, sort of browny eyes.
Takes on this high elven appearance. Ears sort of growing and stretching into the elven form. He gets a little bit taller, and then stands before you in his guise as Illyrian.
This feels better. Oh? Oh, hi there. Lovely to make your acquaintance.
Hello, I am Shivers.
Yes. Lovely to meet you, Jin. Yes, I was the, run-down sort of Johnny, sort of, I guess. Interesting fellow.
What?
Lovely to make your acquaintance, like I said before. I give him a bow, like very sort of like theatrical bow.
Shiva's kind of like looking at the others to see if there's any like reaction as to what the fuck has just happened.
Yeah, we're all just kind of like chilling out. Like, yeah,
As he does
that's
that,
pretty normal.
as he's looking around, not looking at me, I cast minor illusion and sort of have me talk behind his ear. Oh, don't fret, little one. It's okay. Don't be so nervous.
Shivers drops his bottle of wine on the floor.
Lucky by this point, Shivers has been like licking away, and it is fairly empty as it drops and shatters.
As he goes to drop,
Yep.
I use Mage Hand to just scoop it up just as it's about to hit the ground.
Whoa!
and I
Can
give it
you
back to him.
make me a dexterity check to see how good you are at that? Let's
Can I do
let's.
sleight of hand?
You can do sleight of hand. I'll allow sleight of hand. Absolutely.
20.
20. You watch as part of Jin's shadow rises up, forming into this black hand-leaking shadow, catches the bottle, and then rises up and passes it to you.
Here you go there, friend. Wouldn't want you spilling any.
You are fascinating. I like you. This is a fun one. I like the fun one.
Ah, good. That's what everyone said. All my life, I'm sure.
Leosin looks towards Mira, Lockie, and Yervith and goes, "Oh my god, is that another convert to that weird... Like, are they seriously going to get someone else to worship that god of theirs? They're going to outnumber us before too long."
What god is this?
I have a feeling that his religion will win out.
Yeah. I agree with Lockie on that.
Out of the necromancy and whatever that is, I don't know what I'd choose. And
Yes.
I thought it was still up. Oops. Okay.
If like I might mutter under our breath, not for long, but no one will probably hear that. Roll really high.
Oh,
but
I don't know about that. You have a splendid perception.
Yeah. What's your
Such-
passive perception? Yeah, but
My passive perception is 2021.
Yeah.
I mean,
21 passive perception.
It's pretty high.
Yeah, so Leosin sort of nods and goes, "Well, I did, as I was coming in, I did hear you mention that it was time was of the essence. Shivers, is that what you were saying?"
Yes, I don't know if the person who sent me is still alive again or has stopped being alive again.
Right. Well, where are we headed to?
Yes. Oh, and where are we going?
The Shattered Isles. You know, specifically you're headed to the the island of Veshalis. Veshalas. I'll type it in chat for you. Veshalis.
Veshalis. Please.
It's basically it's one of the tiny islands near the larger island where you've spent most of your life. It's between Oshia. Yeah, nailed it. It's between Oshia and the Shattered Isles. It's one of the tiny sort of islands, quite not too far away from the elemental states. Yeah, and you know that's where you were taken, and then they teleported you inside the tower.
We're going to that place.
Excellent. Well, I'll get our navigator to liaise with you, and we'll get that sorted. Was there anything else the rest of you needed to do, or do we need to head off soon?
Does Shana have enough time to just strike up like a very preliminary business deal before she leaves?
100%. Yeah. You kind of already have a very vague business deal in place.
The business snake, you come to discuss terms of agreement with wine. Yes, I understand you are building tavern in Oxenfurt.
About right.
And you need the best wine. Like the best wine there is.
Well, I mean, you know, there's Oxenfurt has lots of wine, but something that's very good is going to be a massive point of difference. Especially if I can get some of those cool bottles thrown in.
Yes, you mentioned before you want cool bottles thrown in as a little present to help get people interested for top shelf goods. I think we can give you some more experimental wines. Very good, very good. I think we can comply. I will speak with your business leader back in Oxenfurt. I believe you have contact details for one Azur. I will reach out to him and we will organize payment and organize transport of delicious wine.
That sounds wonderful.
I think so too. I make money, you drink wine. It's perfect. Everybody win. Yeah, and you sell wine and make money as well. It's how is this not perfect? Everyone should be in economics drinking wine.
And yes, the drinking wine I think is the best part.
Yes,
Glad you,
drinkonomics, I call it.
Made it back to the other side relatively unscathed, mostly, somewhat.
Indeed, I think we can do that. Very good. I will discuss things with this azure. And you have other colors working for you also? No,
just the blue one.
Just azure.
Thank you. I know it was a slow burn, I know.
What about crimson? You have crimson with you? No, alright. We'll let that joke die.
All other colours.
Yep.
I'm gonna pick salmon.
You're gonna pick salmon?
Yeah, or sea mist.
Sea
I
mist.
think they might have a cousin named Cerulean.
Cerulean. Nice. Leosin looks up and goes,
One of my work, one is azure and one is indigo.
Indigo, nice. Awesome. All right. With that, I'll do a bit of a description. You guys head back to the airship. It is indeed in fairly good nick. There's one or two arrows sticking out of the hull. As you approach, you can see Grisha, this half-orc woman, pulling the... Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say half-orc. This Maloran orc, pulling the arrows out. For those of you who might not remember or might not be familiar with the Maloran orcs, there are no half-orcs on Nostea. They are Maloran orcs. They're a specific subset of orc that betrayed or turned against Grumush, the god who created them, and instead followed Melora, the elven goddess of the wilds. They now are much taller, much slighter than most other orcs. Greenish blue skin, almost like an aquatic coloured skin, and very slight amounts of webbing between their fingers as well, very small amounts of webbing. This is a custom race that you can play if you want to. It's in D&D Beyond and on the wiki. Feel free to play as this custom race if you wish to. The other interesting thing about them is that they are covered in tattoos that depict the stories of their lives, great deeds they've accomplished. Grisha, you can see, has a very fresh tattoo upon her arm. It's actually still quite red, and she has partially covered it with some dressing. As you guys approach, she really quickly undoes the bandaging and goes, "Guys, check out this. Look, I chopped off a man's head from 30 paces with some sort of like weird metal thing that Griswold had. He said it was like a delicate instrument, but I threw it at full pelt and it knocked a Dragonborn's head off. And look, I've tattooed it right here." And sure enough, as you look, you can see...
Blood sister. That is a perfect tattoo. Just as good as mine. And I sort of rep mine a little bit from my chest.
Still find your claims as an orc. As one of the Bloodkin spurious. But you have the tattoo.
Go to Drifthaven. They will vouch for me.
Anyway, who's the naked cat?
Hello, I'm Shivers.
Hi, you can call me Grisha. Are you getting more crew? Who's being replaced?
Oh no, I've hired these lovely people to stop the poisonings.
She just gives you a look, nods. Great, well look, I'll keep getting the ship ready then. Reaches up and begins trying to pull out the arrow once more. Leosin comes back and hurries you along. Shivers yes. Yep, come. Let's get you on board the ship. You can see, the air of decency is this large, almost like a large, I was about to say schooner. Is that right? Schooner. Yeah, large schooner. In my mind, I was thinking of beer because I was looking at the beer that I was drinking and I'm like, schooner? That can't be right. I'm thinking of beer. But no, it is. It's a large schooner. So double masted, and the masts themselves are on a bit of a Y-shaped angle, and the sails come down around the sides to capture the wind. And you can see at the back 2 large engines strapped that are slowly letting out little pulses of heat every so often that create this sort of moving barrage effect behind the airship. Made of wood and very, very well decorated. It's beautifully carved. It looks like it's been in fairly good nick. You can see, though, Shivers, a few places where there are massive claw marks down the front starboard bow that looks like some giant creature had tried to claw its way onto the boat at some point. And there's a few scorch marks where some sort of dragon breath had occurred. A weapon attack or elemental attack had occurred up on top of the side railings up the back of the ship. But otherwise, in really, really good nick. And as you climb on board and get aboard the ship, I will actually bring you guys over to the ship map so that you can see it and enjoy it. And I'll just need to bring a copy of Shivers with me as well, just so that Raph, you can enjoy the airship.
My body is ready.
I'm just trying to find the airship map because unfortunately the plugin that I've been using for Roll20. Oh no, I can't find the airship map. The plugin that I've been using for Roll20 I had to. It's not working at the moment, and I've had to uninstall it briefly. So I will. Oh no, I think it's actually taken my airship back with me. That's right. I'll sort that out, and I'll get that up and running for the next stream so that you can enjoy the airship. Or I'll just send you the pictures of it, and you can enjoy it then. Oh, here it is. I found it. Here you go. Oh man, that was frustrating for a moment, and I'll need to drop you on the airship so you can see it. Who's put this drawing on? Deleting this drawing that you've drawn. There you go. But yeah, so the airship is beautiful and very intricately done. As you climb on board, Leosin runs around, gets some maps, and pulls you aside. Shivers, you point out the location, and Leosin sort of goes, yep, okay, yep, I think I know where we're heading. I'll chart course and let's head off then. And with that, the airship rises slowly from the ground. Elia, who's accompanied you on board the ship Mira, takes you over to the side and sort of holds your hands. Mira, I just want you to know I'm really proud of you. And I think you're doing the right thing. I'm going to head back. I think I probably will accept the position that I've been offered, but not on their terms, on mine.
Good, yes. I will have a think about what they said to me, what they proposed, but there was a reason I left. That was not my life. I have more work to do with the Tempest Guild.
I understand, of course.
Once this is over, I will come back.
Well, that's... In some ways, it's really good to hear, because I loved the work we did together, but in other ways, I wonder if you've thrived in this role, Mira, and the others all look to you for leadership and for guidance. I wonder if your role with the Tempest Guild doesn't end here, with your mission to stop the cult. I mean, you really seem to have found your elements. I want you back, obviously. I want you to keep working for me. I want to keep working with you. But I wonder if this is the best place for you now.
This is the best place for me, Ilya. I know that, but I meant I will come back and visit.
Ah, sorry, that was a bit presumptuous of me.
No,
yes.
It is nice to hear someone else say that instead of just me saying it to myself over and over and over again. So.
Indeed. Yes. Well, I can't wait to see you again, and I may see you in Oxenfurt. Who knows? I don't want to completely abandon my duties there, but I feel like maybe that's where we're headed. It seems like I'm needed more here.
Yes, they need this stability, and they need a place to look forward to the future, and that's with you, Ilya.
Maybe. I can't help but think that perhaps this isn't where I'm supposed to be. It's such a large role to fill. I mean, taking over from my mother, I don't know if I'm ready for this.
I think if you surround yourself with good people, my experience is that they are the ones who give you a lot of the skills you need and competence.
You could be right. Food for thought, most certainly. Thank you, Mira. I'm really going to miss you.
Mira will just squeeze a hand and
she reaches forward, pulls you into a massive hug if you don't resist. Yeah, she pulls you into a really big hug, wraps her wings around you as well, so that you're sort of in this canopy of white scales as she holds you, or silver scales, I should say, as she holds you close. She steps back, gives you a nod, and then throws herself off the side of the airship. As she falls, you watch as her form expands back into this massive silver dragon. And as she wheels and does a spin, she rises up in front on top of the airship and breathes out this wave of huge ice that expands in front of you, forming these crystals around the airship. And on the deck of the ship, light snow begins to fall. And as you guys pass through this cloud of ice, the trail that it leaves behind leaves this rainbow in the sky of light glittering off these ice crystals as the airship and then pushes through, leaving a trail of glittering ice crystals forming a rainbow behind you. She spins, wheels, and drops down below you and disappears from sight. Now, for those of you who picked up some magic items, feel free to attune to them. You'll have a long rest during this journey, so anyone who wants to benefit from a long rest, you definitely get one. At top speed, it's still going to take you a day and a half to get to this location, so I think we'll skip through that a little bit unless there's anything specific you guys wanted to do, unless there are any questions you had for Raf's character, for Shivers. I think we'll skip through that a little bit. Nope, doesn't look like anyone's got anything they want to... Yeah, Matt?
I do have a question.
Oh.
So in my inventory,
yes,
I have a blue dragon egg.
Yes, you do.
A 24-hour thing next to it.
Yes, you do.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
What is happening with that egg?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I reckon that egg originally... I'm just trying to remember back to when you picked that up. I reckon originally we were going to use that to explain your Drake Warden feature. I suspect...
I got it from the city.
Oh, you just picked it up recently, did you?
Lockie, yeah, because Lockie used that it was some sort of...
Oh, yes, it was the time effect. Yeah. Okay, perfect. All right, well then let's say I completely forgot about that, but that's so... Yeah, that's right. You had that ridiculous time effect occur. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's what
Basically,
happens.
like page down of
Yeah.
the guard.
It was a guard.
There was
yeah.
like one of the leaders of the leaders. I'm pretty sure. Like
yeah. Here's what happens, because this would have...
like a regular. It was like a leader.
Yeah.
And Lockie used the time thing to like de-age him.
Yeah.
And then he had an egg.
Yeah. That was some wild magic surge, I think, as well occurred there as well. It was,
yeah.
Okay, so this would have happened way before. So we're going to do a quick time skip backwards. When you did your first long rest at Elia's mansion, that egg hatches into a baby dragonborn, and you have a baby dragonborn, like an actual baby dragonborn, like cooing and like garring and like doing little cries and needing like maternal care, like needing some form of...
He is an expert in husbandry, so
yeah,
you'll be relevant eventually.
So like, let's slightly wreck everything that just happened. There is a blue dragonborn between the parties.
So at this point with this little blue baby dragonborn, I'm assuming that when you sort of are presented with this, you're like, I need assistance.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. One of the servants who comes and like goes to change your room goes, oh my goodness, where did you get that child from? And there's a moment of like awkwardness as you explain the situation. She then goes, would you like would you like me to try and find a family for this child?
I think that might be a good idea.
I'm sure there are some people who are looking for children to look after, or may have lost loved ones during the horrific events in the city. Perhaps this could be an opportunity for them to...
Just really awkward and a bit confused.
Yeah, life on the road is no place for a youngling like this. I think if they stay in the city, perhaps find them a fitting family. That would be...
Yes, I will endeavour to find them a family that will help keep them from the paths that they previously chose to get themselves turned into an egg.
And takes the child off you, and we'll go and rehome that child. Thank you for reminding me. For those of you who are just joining us, you need to go back about 3 episodes to understand that. Fuck me, I completely forgot about it. Thank you for reminding me.
Sitting in my inventory the whole time, and I'm like, I wonder when this is gonna come up. I'll just wait. Bit of an opportunity.
Yes, Michael.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I did give him my first nappy, so it's been changed.
Nice. Thank you for reminding me. I completely forgotten. That's very good to know.
Cool. I have one thing I would like to say, Owen.
Lay it on me.
Because when I was talking to Lockie before we jumped on Elia's back about the stone.
Yes.
Did we ever have a chance to go back to the city?
You haven't been only when you were checking out Fafnir's archives.
Right. Okay.
What did you want to do back in the city? Because we can definitely say that you had a bit of a chance to jump into the city.
Oh, I just wanted to grab like a gemstone that resembled that stone as much as as close as it can get to that.
Ooh, okay. You might need to head to a jeweler's or something. That could be a bit tricky to go through the city and try and find a jeweler's after it's just been in the middle of a violent coup. For the moment, that one might need to be parked. But I'll tell you what. Have you checked the bag of holding? Do you have any moonstones in the bag of holding?
Well, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Because I put a lot of stuff in the bag of holding.
Check the bag of holding. See if you've got any moonstones in there. I think you have picked up a moonstone. I do vaguely remember handing out some gemstones not that long ago.
I never put that in the. It's probably in my notes.
I can find the Roll20 log. I'll check through the Roll20 log and I'll see if you've got a Moonstone, and if not, you also have an Arcanist on the ship, and an Artificer.
Well,
you've
that's
got two
what I was about to
technically.
say.
Yeah. Do you want to head down to Griswold?
I would definitely start like scoping out some of those guys and like talking to them about it and such.
So as you head down into the engine room, you can see Arvel and Griswold are bent over, looking at some complex piece of machinery that Griswold is currently plugging into the ship. Lockie, I'd say you'd probably be down there too at this point, just for this little
he's not helping out, but he knows it's in good hands. So he's actually also taking some time with the that sphere that we got from the fight.
Yes, take some time looking through that. Yeah, and as you approach Griswold, this gnome with a large moustache and slicked back, crazy white hair, so turns and goes,
yes, welcome, Jin. And you had a question for me? We're quite busy at the moment, so to keep it brief.
Well, it's just a quick little thing is all. I showed Lockie here as well, but more on deck the better. I showed them a sketch of the stone. Look, I would like to replicate this as close as possible to the exact copy there.
Looks like some sort of white stone. I'm guessing some sort of jade or moonstone.
I'm not entirely aware of what it could be.
Well, it should be a fairly simple enough process. It's just a shaped piece of gemstone. I can whip something together for you in a couple of hours.
Perfect. That'd be awesome. Thank you so much.
Did you need any enchantments on it? What is it supposed to do? Or is it just a gemstone?
Just sort of a gift, I guess. I wouldn't mind if maybe it radiated some magic or something, but otherwise quite as it is, and just has this, maybe like this very, almost like subtle radiation magical power.
Right, but
just
you don't
really
want
subtle.
it to actually do anything in particular, do you?
Well, just a little thought I had just now. When it's placed on someone's forehead, I want little sparkles to come out of it and go, little streamers and such.
Yes, I should be able to accomplish such a thing.
I think that would be fun.
I do have one main question that's coming to mind, Jin, while you're telling me all this.
Yes, of course.
Why?
Oh, you know me. I don't have much reason to it, and I look around and I'm a bit of a prankster. You know me. This is more of a fun thing.
But this is such a weird prank. It's so...
Oh no, it will, when it is done, it will be glorious.
Will it go better than your last prank? Because I remember the last time you pranked somebody, a giant jumped off the side of a building.
Well, that was unforeseen. I was just trying to teach him a lesson. How did I know that he would jump off the tower? No, this will not be that. Not a repeat.
Right, how urgently do you need this, Jin? Is this an urgent matter, or is this something I could do in my spare time?
Look, I think for now, definitely in your spare time. It's only a prank, like I said. It's not urgent. Do whatever you need to do that is urgent, and then come back to me with this. I'll give you a little bit of gold for it.
Oh, you'll give me a bit of gold for it, will you? Don't insult me, Jin. Fucking put it together.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be nice.
Little bit of gold for fucking bards.
And Griswold walks over and begins like smashing away at this thing with a hammer. Arvel, the large Leonin form, looks around towards you and goes,
Yes, I think that what you did there was rather insult him a little bit with the suggestion that you would chuck him coins as if he was some sort of street performer.
Whoa, I am a street performer.
Yes, I think that's why he took it as an insult.
What is wrong with that? I consider him an equal then, if by that logic.
Oh, I would not share that with him.
Bloody artificers.
all three artificers in the room turn around and look at you, and because you're in a room with only artificers who turn and look at you, and Arvel looks
don't
and
worry, I know what I did.
Is there some other reason you're still here, Jin? Did you need something else?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, okay, fine. I don't want you biting my hand off.
Who told you about that?
Nothing. Just a little bird.
Look,
Goodbye.
the
See
ship
you
was in
later,
danger.
Arthur.
The ship was in danger, and I was trying to
I go
protect
up
the ship.
the stairs.
Yes, you start walking away here. I was trying to protect the ship, but it
Yes,
Disappear.
yeah, I'm sure.
Who is Jesus? Yeah, exactly.
As Jin leaves the engine room, he hears Lockie say, "So he likes pranks, does he?" And then the door closes.
Oh no. Oh, no. Do you know what this is going to be? It's going to be fucking Winston from New Girl, where like it's either way too mild or way too intense with the pranks. There's no middle ground. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna sprinkle sand around his shoe. But
I have 18% passive perception. Do I hear anything?
You hear him say that. You hear him say,
Okay.
So he likes pranks then, does he?
I put my head in. Oh, what have you got planned?
Oh, nothing. Sure, we're still in the planning phases.
Yes, we were just talking about you, Jin. We know how much you like it when people talk about you.
That is correct. Continue. I go upstairs.
Oh, he's so magnificent. I'm sure someone like that could never be hoodwinked by the likes of us.
As you start walking away, Jin.
It's far too clever.
You hear Griswold go, fuck, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get that little bart. As he walks away. Shivers, for your information, after a couple of hours, you are met by this Professor Griswold, who hears that there is another spellcaster on the ship. He is a tiny gnome, like 2.5, 3 feet tall. He's tiny. But as he comes up to greet you, you watch as some contraption strapped to his leg. So yeah, I should describe. An older gentleman, massive bushy moustache that goes out like 30 centimeters on either side of his face. White hair slicked back into sort of like a crazy professor look out the back of his head. Goggles perched atop his forehead. Decked out in what looks to be some sort of white lab coat that is modified with various items that are attached to it. And he seems to be covered in these various items, like little plates of armor that are stacked on, and then these strange devices whirring and clicking, clockwork attached to various parts of him. And as he comes up to greet you, he goes, "Ah, Tabaxi!" And then he clicks his heels together, and you watch as his legs extend as he rises up to the same height as you, as stilts come out of the back of his legs. Or out of the greaves that he's got attached to his legs.
Hello. That's a fun trick you have there.
Trick? It's no trick. This is how I reach tall places. Professor Griswold. Nice to meet you.
Hello. I am Shivers, the coldest dark before the dawn.
Coldest dark before the dawn. I forget you Tabaxi have such strange names. I'm going to stick with Shivers. Look, I've not got much time. I hear you're quite proficient at spellcasting. Is that correct?
Well, I can cast spells. This is correct.
Fantastic. Hold still for me a moment. This will only tickle deep inside. You might find your spleen somewhat affected. Hold still.
And he pulls out from his bag a strange gemstone shaped like an eye that he attaches to his goggles, pulls them down over his head, and starts leaning in. You watch as this wave of orange energy, this light that shines out of this stone, like almost shine on your face and then begin tracking down. And as his stilts slowly detract, he moves down your body, almost doing what looks like an X-ray of your form. And then he sort of steps back.
I'm just going to fall to the floor screaming.
There's no need for that. Oh, maybe I haven't calibrated this for Tabaxi. Maybe there is a need for that.
I'm joking. It's just a trick. I'm pranking.
What is it with people and pranks on this ship? Unbelievable.
What did you just do to me?
I'm taking a scan of your temporal aura, please. Could you hold still?
Okay. I stand up again.
Yeah. I'm going to extend the thing. You could have stayed lying down. I mean, seriously.
He begins extending his stilts.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Stilts detract and he drops down to the ground.
Hold still. Do not move a muscle. He looks. Your tail's still moving. Keep it still.
I can't control the tail. It just does its own thing.
Well, how do I know you're not hiding powerful magic in your tail, huh? Never mind. I'll find out.
Pulls the goggles on again and begins shining this orange light across you. You feel a bit tingly, but that's it. Shiv, you don't feel any other effect. He sort of steps back, pulls the gemstone out, has a look, holds it up to his ear.
Ugh, necromancer. Literally, you only know necromancy spells.
Yes, this is correct.
Right. And I'm what? What? Right. Tell me, how do you bring corpses back when they lose their limbs? Does the magic reattach? I've got some questions about necromancy, if you don't mind coming with me. I've got some questions about how you do. There's some spells I'd like to know about. There's one that you turn yourself into a jar, I believe. Tell me a bit more about that.
Oh, that one's very fun. I like
Come with
that
me, come with me. Let's have a talk about it.
And he takes you downstairs. He asks you all about your spells. If you want to be honest with him, you can tell him everything you know about your magic. He takes copious notes. Occasionally takes some measurements of different parts of your body. Occasionally attaches things to you that like whir and beep and click, and you don't know what they do. And then he detaches them and goes, "Oh, very interesting. Oh, 62 years, very nice." And then like puts things away, and you're like, "What? What?" No, it's just your life expectancy. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Begins like writing things down. Yeah. When he's all finished, he sort of looks at his notes and goes, well, lovely to meet you, Shivers. Have a lovely life. What's left of it anyway.
That's okay. I'll come back. It is not a problem. I wander off.
As you go to step away and you say that, he pauses. He goes,
You're not thinking you're becoming a lich, are you?
What? No. No. Well, no.
That's a shame. I had some questions about it. If you do come back as a lich, please come and find me. I've got some other questions about the phylactery creation. I had a hypothesis about how to do something a bit extra special with that. But look, if you achieve lichdom, come back and have a chat to me. I'd love to have a talk to you about it.
Okay.
Just like wander away. Arvel like watches you pass this massive Leonin, lion's mane braided around and pulled back, quite slight of form but very tall, quite muscular looks, and goes,
I think he was mostly joking about the lichdom.
Oh. Hello, I'm Shivers.
Arvel. Lovely to meet you. I see you're a fellow resident of the Shattered Isles.
Yes. This is
Very
great.
nice. Priest of Solthai, I see from your markings.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you like her as well?
I've never been one to worship intently, but a number of my family have their ancestors, the honoured vessels, with them. I unfortunately...
Better to be safe than sorry.
Indeed. Unfortunately, there was no match for me. I see you have no honoured vessel with you either. Similar story, or do priests not?
No, well, I got a little too crispy last life.
Yes. Apparently I was eaten by some sort of large ocean creature.
Oh, it happens. It's okay. Hopefully next time it won't be. There will be more of us. Yes?
Yes. Hopefully, indeed. I should tell you, I'm not a worshipper myself, but maybe my next life will be.
Well, there you go. If you have another life, you are already sort of a worshipper.
Yes.
We come back, it's all good.
I'm a very busy man, Shivers. But look, I can have a sit down and a drink. We can chat about where you've been in this world. I imagine it's been quite a journey from the Shattered Isles. Quite an isolated place.
Oh, it was a very short trip, actually.
From the Shattered Isles to Chiari. Are you sure about that?
I haven't seen very much at all. It was kind of like...
Yes, magic, indeed. Well, there's a bit of the on this ship too, so I'll give you a heads up if any teleportation's about to occur. Griswold thinks he's developed some sort of, he's calling it a telewarp drive. I'm not quite sure what it does, but he's convinced that he can teleport the entire airship to various locations.
That could be a lot of people without bodies for their new lives.
Yes, if it does not go well. Yes, the current issue is that it sends it into the astral space, and you can't breathe there.
Oh. Personally, I cannot?
No one can. I mean, obviously, Lockie's probably fine. Lockie's like there, like tinkering away at something. Lockie's probably fine, but the rest of us who need to breathe might be a bit of a problem.
Wow. Okay. Yes. Shivers just kind of starts to wander off.
Yes, well, great chat, Shivers. I'll catch up with you later.
As he turns back to you, Lockie, he goes,
so weird. I always thought the priests were really weird, but he actually seems quite good with people.
I know. It's surprising.
I found them quite creepy when I met them as a child. Maybe it was the fact that they were like covered in bones and that they would like talk to dead people all the time.
That would do it. But he seems to just have tattoos and...
Oh, the markings on his skin. No, I think they're natural. I don't think they're tattoos. I think that's his natural coloration.
Oh, that is creepy.
Yeah, it is a bit creepy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll ask him next. Actually, hang on, he might not have gone too far. Let me catch up to him. Arvel comes like running down the corridor. Shivers, well, I've got a question for you. I've got a question. Come back with Lockie. He's got a question for you.
Okay.
brings you back down.
So Lockie was wondering.
So I started getting a bit Griswold with Arvel.
So Lockie was wondering,
Yes. The markings on you. Were they?
Yes.
You were born with them?
Yes. I think it's just something that is cultivated over several generations. I don't really understand it. It's above my pay grade is the wrong word, but it's the right concept. A lot of us have these, although most of my colleagues have hair. I am fortunate in some ways because it's very hot down there. But yes, the markings, that's just me. That is Shivers.
Wow. Yeah, I thought it was an addition, but because of your statue.
It's sort of an addition, I guess, just a generational one.
How many lives have you lived?
9.
Oh. Yes.
9!
So, okay. Wow, that's fascinating. Does this mean you're the last one? Question for later.
Oh no, it's infinite, and I mean, from what I remember from a child, the idea is that everyone is experiencing life all at once. We're all part of the same entity, just experiencing life as separate souls, and then we will continue to experience life as separate souls and continually reincarnation until the heat death of the universe. That's not how it was put to us. It was put as until the cycle breaks and the world is undone. But now I understand as an arcanist, I think they're referring to the heat death of the universe.
That makes sense.
It's just the meat bits that keep on falling apart.
Really makes sense. Yes.
Okay. So, do you have memories from your past lives then?
No.
Shit. Okay.
There was one group who were practicing something called past life regression, but I think that turned out to be bullshit.
Yes, that was in fact a cult.
Yes, that's what it was. It was a cult within the genuine religion of bringing people back from the dead.
Yes.
It's like, look, I'll be honest, I can see how people got fooled. It is hard to keep up sometimes.
Look, I mean, frankly, that whole subsection, how could anyone believe in that?
We're actually fighting a cult right now, Shivers.
Yes, yes.
Nice.
Okay, but if you were given the option to remember your past lives, would you take it?
That's a good question. I don't know. It depends on how good my past life was. If it's better than this one, probably not. I'd be jealous. But then it would be good to learn from my mistakes.
It would be fun. I would do that. Yes, you could learn things. Then you could have proper conversations with your animate friend. Not that they would talk back, but you could answer for them because you know what they would say. So it's like having a friend live in your head that also follows you around. I would do that.
Yes, it's not creepy at all.
No.
It's not creepy at all.
It's not creepy.
Well, I mean, a construct, golem, they come from different places, but at the end of the day, we're still made to play.
Indeed, in a very esoteric way, yes. I'm going to be perfectly honest, maybe it's because I grew up around this religion that it's just not something I ever considered weird. I mean, a little bit weird, but not ever something I considered odd, shall we say. I mean, it just made sense at the time. Otherwise, what are you doing with dead bodies? They're just festering and molding in the ground. Kind of makes sense. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, my brother, he started a very successful business using his previous vessel to help him dig a rather large series of aqueducts through his farmland, and actually ended up being able to use that to form some sort of aquaculture. Which is, as you would know, Shivers, quite hard on the Isles. There's not a lot of fresh water to be found.
This is true. Yes, and the extra strong bodies, and they don't complain. Very, very happy to do whatever you tell them to do. They're good people.
Indeed, yes.
Ex-people.
Yes.
Vessels.
I did hear of a tiefling barber at one stage that was turning bodies into pies.
Oh. I thought that was a grung. I heard it was a grung, Sweeney Toad.
That was quick.
Thank you.
Oh, you were wow.
I take a critical
You're
hit?
welcome. Thank you. I'm always there's a part of my brain.
Damage.
There's a part of my brain that's constantly monitoring the conversation for pun opportunities. So every so often it just like taps me on the shoulder and goes, "Oh, Owen, I've had a great pun. Please speak this aloud." And I go, "Oh yes, please have the mouth." Enjoy. I give you control of the mouth for the moment. Enjoy. Yeah.
Yes, it was a grung. I thought some Sweeney Toad or something. Isn't that what Jin was trying to turn himself into before? I thought it was a reference.
That would make right, yes. Possibly. Yeah. But, I just asked because there's been a time or two where I've had memories of before I was shut down or what have you, so I just wanted to see if you had any way to enlighten me. That's fine.
Oh,
well, I mean, that's still the same life, isn't it? You're in the same vessel.
I mean...
The hardware's still the same, right? Like, it hasn't changed. The hardware hasn't changed.
No, some of it, I guess, hasn't changed. It was 6,000 years ago, and then a little bit, and I was dead for a while. So, I mean...
Oh.
I guess I do have a question, Lockie, that I've not asked before. How much of you have you replaced over the years? Like, your original design, are you still... Well, is all the hardware still the same? Or has it all been replaced over the years?
You know, I think I've lost track along the way. That answers an interesting question. I mean, if I have replaced all of myself...
Are you still Lockie?
Everyone, let's ponder that through.
It's the ship of Theseus question.
Right there. Yeah.
It's a good question. Well, sorry, Shivers, that was... I mean, we only asked one question, but it turned into a bit of an interrogation. Sorry about that.
I'm used to it from people who are not familiar with what I do. It's fairly common, those questions. Although I haven't traveled very much, but on the short amount of time that I have been traveling, there's been quite a lot of people who just don't seem to comprehend it, which I don't really understand it. I think it makes perfect sense.
Yes, the message of Sulthai has not gone far beyond our shores of the Shattered Isles. In fact, there are many who would not even know her name, let alone understand that she is a goddess.
She is.
Yes, quite an integral one who helped fight in the ruin against the Betrayer gods.
This is all facts that I am aware of.
Yes, everyone's happy to talk about the big ones like Palor or Bahamut or Arathis, but we would have fallen without her guidance.
For what it's worth, my feline friend, I find your views different to what I've come across, but interesting. You definitely give me food for thought. And that
Thank you. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Alrighty. Any other? Because I think otherwise I'll do a little arrival at the location and I'll end the session there. But are there any other questions or any other things you wanted to do in character while you're on the airship?
I do.
Yeah, I figured you might.
So while Griswold is making my gemstone, I'm going to covertly, just like I'm not gonna make it very obvious, but I'm gonna watch Shana a little bit.
Yeah.
Try and gauge where that gemstone is hidden.
Could you make me a stealth check and an investigation check, please, Shana? Could you roll a perception check, please?
Wow, I rolled
8.
really bad.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Wow.
But I rolled really well for
22,
investigation, which is really weird.
Natural 1, Shana.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. I was gonna say. This is what I was prepared to say. Shana, for some reason, Jin keeps looking at you, but never mind because you do not notice. Lord. Shana, I would say probably that you are spending most of your time focused on the Nexal node that you recovered, that you are using to try and bring your half soul, Kalashtar soul, your to bring Lyra back from the dead, or from wherever she is. Where would you stash the gemstone? Would you keep it on your person, or would you be stashing it in your room somewhere safe?
You stash it in a room, like Because, like, I'm assuming, like, she's not carrying around her entire pack with her and stuff.
Exactly.
And, I'm sort of assuming that she sort of might have, like, a bit of a component pouch that sort of is separate to the component, to the main pack, and so it's probably tucked in there along with, like, other spell agents.
Yeah, so in that case, then you carry it with you some of the time, but not all the time. Like, there are times when you might leave your spell component pouch behind thinking, oh, well, I'm probably not going to need it. Yeah. Unfortunately, you don't notice Jin paying very close attention to you. You are so focused on your mission, on trying to bring Lyra back, that your focus is very much taken up by that. Jin, you do notice... So whenever Shana heads down to the engine room, you've gone into her room once or twice and had a bit of a look through. And both times you've checked, you've not found anything. But then this most recent time, after Griswold has presented you with this moonstone that looks like a carved moonstone, a little bit similar to what you remember seeing Varys hand her, Shana heads down, begins looking at the Nexal node and examining it, talking to Griswold about how she could possibly use that wish spell that she has access to. Because I should also mention, for those of you who have forgotten, Shana still has a wish spell. You'd forgotten, Ali. Oh my god, yeah, Shana still has a wish spell from her bean that is still active. Oh yeah, that's right. We'll have to find a way to get Raph a magic bean. There's a merchant in Oxenfurt who sells magic beans that when you eat them, they unlock your true power. It's a D100 roll table that I get them to roll on, and it's a random effect every time. The 100 is a wish spell, which is what Shana got on hers. She got rolled 100, so that's
amazing.
It's crazy, but yeah. So unfortunately, Jin, you notice Shana leave behind her component pouch as she heads down to talk to Griswold about the Nexal node and about bringing Lyra back. You sneak into her room, and the only thing you haven't checked so far is that component pouch. And sure enough, as you open it up, sitting inside, along with a number of spell components, is the moonstone that Varys gave to her. You can see that... Oh, yeah, sorry, you go.
Oh, yeah.
You go.
No, you keep going.
I was just going to say, you can see that Griswold's attempt looks pretty good. Obviously, it's been done from a drawing. It's not exactly the same size because you did a drawing of it, and Griswold's had to do it from a drawing. But it looks somewhat similar. It looks like a carved moonstone. The symbol, this sort of weird spiral pattern that devolves into these cracks across it, Griswold's done a pretty good job of replicating as well. You had that very strong in your drawing. But yeah, it's not identical. It's just, it's very close.
Okay, look, very close I can work with. I'm going to use my forgery kit. I don't know if that would help. Disguise kit, forgery kit, whatever I can to sprouse to make it look almost identical.
Okay, absolutely. Do you want to roll me? So yeah, for tools and skill checks, for those of you who might not know, Raph, I don't know if I've done this variant rule with you before, but with homebrew rules, there's a couple that I run all the time. These are up on the wiki. The one that we run for tools is that you tell me which skill check you'd like to use and then justify why it should be that skill or that ability being used for the tool check. So for example, we had a classic one at the very beginning of the campaign where Mira wanted to do some cooking and said, I'd like to use my charisma as the primary role because I'm going to focus on the presentation. It's all going to be about how pretty the food looks. I don't care about taste. I don't care about how well it's cooked. I'm just focusing on how great it looks. It's Instagram food, all right? So yeah, so absolutely. For a forgery kit, Jin, you tell me what stat you want to use and justify why.
Probably deception. I'm trying to deceive her.
Yep, so charisma, in that case, then roll a charisma check and use your proficiency bonus. But can you talk me through how your charisma affects this? So in which way are you using your charisma more than anything else?
So, because I have the moonstone that I have been given, the moonstone that is like there, and I'm basically trying to add the same flair. Like, cause I remember there was like a gold band or something from what I remember.
Yep, that's right, around the base of it.
Yep, so... Definitely trying to have like sort of emulate that like gold band sort of look. Yeah, basically trying to get it almost identical, and I guess like trying to deceive her that the gemstone that she has is going to be the one that she thinks she has, and trying to get that down as much as I can.
Okay, so I think how I'll justify it in my mind is you're kind of treating it like a stage prop. Working as a bard, you've worked with props a number of times. You've had to adapt props at certain points to make them look like other things, because obviously, like, you don't have a budget to just make all the props that you need, and you want to reuse props from previous plays or performances. So it's kind of, you've learnt to adapt props on the fly. You've got maybe a little bit of paint in the forgery kit that you can use to like touch up and make it look a bit more realistic, or make it match a little bit closer with the gold base, to add those little wires at the back as well, this sort of lattice of metal filament at the back that Griswold's done a pretty good job with, but you can see where you can make it better. So yeah, you touch it up like you're touching up a prop. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm being incredibly kind as a DM, basically giving you that, but yeah. Just so that we get the tool, how the tool checks work.
That's probably what I was thinking as well,
Yeah.
because I was gonna go on a bit, like I'd probably use things from my bag
from
of
your
holding, because I
disguise
did
kit
take
and
pretty much my entire contents from my room at
Yeah.
the Bard's College, so I would probably have some other little props lying around that could potentially help out with the construction of it as well.
Yeah. You might even have like a sword pommel that has a gold inlay that you pull out and attach to this with some glue, and you're like, yeah, that looks good. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Could you please roll me a tool skill check this? So charisma plus your proficiency. So you can probably roll it as a deception, because a deception is your charisma plus your proficiency as well.
Yes.
Oh, except is it double proficiency because you're bardic? 26.
Oh, well,
nice.
my charisma is +5 and my proficiency bonus is +4.
Okay, perfect. No, that's a perfect then. 26. 26 is spot on. Nice. Yeah, 26. Very, very nice. I'll make a note of that. Actually, tell you what, why don't we do it now? Shana, could you roll me a perception or investigation check? Your choice.
I don't think she can actually.
I don't think she'll beat it.
I don't think she can, because it's +0.
I physically can't.
Oh, okay. 5. Okay, cool. Yeah, Shana, I mean, in your minds, like, you've not spent time examining this. Your focus has been on getting Lyra back. And in your mind, you're like, oh, well, look, Varys has given me this thing. I'll just use it when I need it. And you're not looking at it, studying it, or paying close attention to it. Nice. Okay. Jin's fake, Varys' magical quest is out to you. Quality closeness roll of 26. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Thank you for adding that. That's brilliant.
That's great.
That's awesome. Jin, you now have this stone. As you take it and head back to your room, a shadow rises out of your own, takes form. Varys leans back on the bed. You can see now, no longer taking that elven form that you've seen so many times. This time, his skin looks almost like starlight, hair long and flowing behind him. His form lithe, very skinny, only 4 fingers on each hand. Sorry, 3 fingers on each hand. Everyone has 4 fingers. 3 fingers on each hand. And as he leans back, you can see he sort of like stretches his neck a bit and goes, well, Jin, what have you got there? Am I sensing some sort of dissension in the ranks? You wouldn't be working against Shana now, competing for my attention, would you?
Well, you only gave one out, so...
I offered,
really
and
doing,
you
I guess?
didn't take one. It's hardly my fault if you make these decisions.
Well, look, I have been quite competitive in my time, in my youth and my life. I can see this being interesting. Curry a bit of favor, and make myself look better. I'm proving myself to you right now, Varys. That I am deceptive when I need to be, effective when I need to be, efficient when I need to be.
Well, you're
saying
you're saying all the right things, but I can't help but feel like your heart may not be in the right place. You've replaced Shana's with a fake. What if you are unsuccessful? Then that means I will be unsuccessful. You're asking me to trust your proficiency. Trust in your skills over Shana's. Shana's served me for a lot longer, Jin. No offense.
Yes, but she's not the one that got the Draghorn now, did she?
Oh, you cheeky little bitch. Well, if we're going to be playing it that way. Indeed. Good to consider. I'll let this play out.
Once. Let me prove myself again. You won't be... I've gotten over my little tiff. I tell you right now, I've proved myself once, and evidently I'll have to prove myself again, but you will not be displeased, I'm sure.
Could you please roll me a deception check? You specifically told a lie then. When you said, I've gotten over my little tiff. 21. He looks at you, eyes holding yours, and you can see that his eyes are pitch black with white pupils. No other color. His whole iris, sclera, everything is this black starlight. And as you look into his eyes, you feel the weight of eternity behind it. This creature is so old, so powerful, and you are standing before it trying to lie. you cannot help but feel deep within yourself that nothing you say or do will convince this creature of your motives. This thing is incalculably old. Varys looks deep in your eyes and smiles. Well, Jin, I trust you to do the right thing when the time comes. And if not, well, we'll be having a little chat again. Not one quite like this. A little bit more dark, shall we say?
Quite.
Indeed. Well, I will keep our little secret from Shana for the moment. But if it comes down to it, it looks like you're not going to succeed. I will have to tell Shana of your deception, and she'll be so hurt and betrayed by your actions, Jin. So hurt.
I'm sure she won't. But I look forward to meeting this wizard of ours. So, yes.
Indeed. Do you think you'd recognize him when you see him?
Oh, I think I will have a good idea.
Well, that was a trick question, Jin. I don't care which wizard you get the stone on top of. It just has to be one of the ones in red robes. That's all you need to remember.
Hence why I said I would have a good idea.
Good. Just making sure you're paying attention. You were in such a little tizzy last time we spoke. So self-righteous and indignant. Or having a little tanty. I'm pleased to see you got over that. I'm pleased to see you remember where your loyalties lie. Remember, Jin, don't let me down.
Of course. I haven't before, and I won't again.
You say of course. Prove it. Actions speak louder than words, Jin, and your words at the moment are like that of a chattering monkey. I want to see you do some things. Things for me.
Oh, I will. Well, I have destroyed the Drakhorn, and, well, this is just the next step.
Very well. I am loving this little you versus she versus who's going to get there first.
I'm sure that you are lapping this up.
I am. It's like you're both doing a little dance for my affection. Daddy, pay attention to me. It's so hilarious. Well, please, don't let me detain you. I look forward to seeing how you work for me, Jin. And you will work for me, Jin.
Of course.
You watch as your shadow begins to sink back down and disappear, as it then reforms back into your normal shadow. For the moment,
as I look,
you don't know.
As he goes down, I turn away. I probably have a little bit of the slightest grimace to my smile.
Indeed. Is there anyone else who wanted to chat to anybody else on the airship? Was there anyone else we need to talk to, or should we quickly do our arrival? I can see Raph's yawning. I think we've reached We'll wrap up there, I think. All right, perfect.
I'm good.
As the airship arrives out from over the open sea and you look down below, you can see the white shores of the Shattered Isles. Almost what looked to be a string of volcanic islands that have since long ago erupted and then been slightly eroded away. In the center, all of these isles are quite mountainous. White stone and white ash marking the boundaries of their entry into the sea. And this tiny island all the way out in the middle of the ocean sits surrounded by crashing waves. And at its center, you see a large tower rising from the broken island, with a hedge formed into a maze, forming this large labyrinthine mess surrounding it. Shivers. You remember from looking out the window, seeing a large hedge maze from inside the tower before you teleported. You have arrived at Zonthar's tower. And that is where we will wrap up for tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. I know we went a little bit over. We did start a little bit later because of the technical difficulties. I'll edit those out, so if you're listening on this podcast or the YouTubes, you won't have experienced any technical difficulties, except for the occasional lag on Matt's voice as he sounds like a Warforged. Just the occasional one. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been lovely having you here. Thank you to the Evildoers for coming in and doing another raid. I hope you guys had an awesome session. I wanted to say hi to you guys earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt the flow of the roleplay we had because it was awesome. So no, I hope you had a fun stream, Evildoers. But yeah, that's it from me. Stay safe, stay well. We will see you all again next time. Thank you again to Raph, our lovely guest character who's coming and joining us as the coldest dark before the dawn, otherwise known as Shivers. Really looking forward to having Raph come and stick around with us for pretty much this entire chapter from the looks of things. I'm hoping that stay around for a couple of sessions. I say I'm hoping I've booked him for a couple of sessions. You're not going anywhere, mate. You're mine. For the stream, I'm like crawling over towards you. What was that? Sorry, Michael?
So I came for a couple of sessions.
Michael came for a couple of sessions. Michael came as a guest character about a year and a half ago.
Hey, Mia.
Yeah. It was the same with you and me.
Oh, Matt, yeah, that's true. That's
I was originally a guest character. I've been here ever since.
Yeah.
Rock up
That's it.
Wednesdays and have a go. So that.
I signed up for one session, Owen.
Oh yeah, true. That's a good point. Well, it's lovely to have you all here. Now that Stockholm Syndrome has developed.
One of us.
One of us. Actually, I say that, but actually, I can probably announce this now. Raph will be joining us for the Curse of Strahd campaign as one of the main cast members. So actually, I say one of us, literally one of us for when Curse of Strahd starts. Which is going to be very, very
Also
exciting.
this campaign, one of
us. Yeah. But that's all from us tonight, lovely people. We will be back again tomorrow night with our Avatar Legends campaign. Looking forward to coming back. I'm sorry we couldn't have a session last week. We unfortunately had too many people out. It was just going to be me and Bree. So just me and one of the players, which we figured would be a little bit boring. So we left it. But yeah, we will be back tomorrow night with Avatar Legends. I may do a stream on Saturday morning as well, playing some PC games. I'll keep you posted. I will also be definitely doing a stream of Breath of the Wild 2, which I think is now called Tears of the Kingdom when it comes out. I saw the Nintendo Direct announcement today. Oh, I'm frothing. I'm also very excited for Pokemon Violet. I'll be doing Pokemon Violet playthrough too. Aquatic Archie, who's also been on the stream a number of times, he and I are both going to be playing that together, and we're going to hopefully do that multiplayer, because I know you can. Anyone else? Oh no, Matt, you're a Pokemon fan, aren't you, Matt? You know, which one are you getting, Violet or Scarlet? I know it's a tough question.
Actually.
I've just been tipped over to Violet, and I'm a red starter.
Yeah.
In Pokemon Red, Ruby, all the way through.
I was thinking Scarlet, but I don't know how I feel about the legendary being all wet.
Yeah, how that has like a motorcycle tire, but then physically runs using its feet. It's just I can't deal with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure about one.
Yeah, I can't.
Violet, at least it's he doesn't. Yeah. It's wheels, so it makes sense. Right?
It makes sense. Exactly right.
It's like Fred Flintstone's with Scarlet.
It's very exactly. My goodness, yeah, I'm very, very excited for that. But yeah, that's all the announcements. Well, have a lovely night, everybody. If you're in Australia, if you're elsewhere in the world and you're waking up or going about your day, have an awesome day. We will see you all again next time. Until then, stay safe, stay well, and see you later. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.
See everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.